Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
You, podcast listener, me, podcast host. This is the Simpsons Index, and I'm Elliot J. O'Neill. And joining me tonight is Jordan.
Hello.
And BT.
Yep.
He's unimpressed with your intro.
I was thoroughly impressed. I didn't have a follow-up.
Okay.
Like, I've been out of class before it even started.
He was just totally stunned.
Dead before I hit the ground.
Well, yeah, I'm trying out a bunch of new intros lately. With the new studio, I think we deserve a new intro.
It makes sense. I
Yeah.
can't fault that.
And a new intro for what? Well, the Simpsons Index, the podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but the catch is each episode comes from a different decade. And starting out tonight, we watched an episode from Season 27, Episode 2, Q Detective. It was written by Joel H. Cohen and first released in October of 2015. In this episode, after the Simpsons discover that they smell because their washing machine is disgusting, Homer goes out to buy a new one, but instead buys a barbecue smoker. And then the clothes never come up again as the Simpsons have a journey with their smoker, which in the next scene gets stolen. Guys, what did you think?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was actually not terrible.
But in a lot of ways, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Ah.
It wasn't as blatantly awful as The Simpsons HD can get.
Yeah, there were a lot of jokes where, that kind of reaction. But I wasn't angry about anything.
Yeah, there wasn't like any gut-busting moments, but also there wasn't like, okay, gut-busting moments that make you, laugh so hard from a really funny joke versus there wasn't any gut-busting moments like someone is punching you in the stomach.
Oh, I thought you meant like where you poop yourself because you're so angry.
That
I
too.
have never done that.
Either way, they
It's
didn't.
an experience, I tell you that.
This episode didn't hit those emotional extremes which make you keel over in the way that, laughing or pooping yourself does.
Yes. Oh. Yeah.
Laughter poop.
Which is the funniest kind of poop. Waka waka.
I'd say it's weird that poop is both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. I shit myself, I laughed so hard. I shit myself, I was so angry. And Jordan has soiled himself. Let's see why.
Ooh, the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out, I'll just list off the guest stars for this episode. Alton Brown played himself.
Yes. He's from Cutthroat Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like Alton Brown. They said it like Elton Brown, but I've always known him as Alton Brown. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I thought I was a Food Network fanatic, but I'm not familiar with this guy.
He does Cutthroat Kitchen. He does another one. He did another one where he was kind of mean, but in Cutthroat Kitchen he's usually quite nice.
Oh, okay.
Despite the name of it.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, I actually haven't watched Food Network stuff in a long time. I know there was a period there where me and you watched, like, All the Chopped.
All the Chopped. And came out with our own show, Stoned, where you give high people random shit around the kitchen and see what they make.
We have fusilli pasta, gummy bears, and...
Oh, my God.
And marshmallow whipped spread.
I would love to see...
and
like,
Doritos dust. Just the dust. I ate the Doritos.
Well, it came about because Elliot's quite a good stoned chef. So.
The inventor of Nutcheroni cheese right
and
here.
it's fucking delicious.
That sounds great. Oh, sorry. Cutthroat Kitchen was the kind of the mean one. Good Eats was the one he did before that. It had 14 seasons.
Hey,
where
it's
he was
Good
kind of
Eats.
nice. Yeah.
And speaking of which, Bobby Moynihan played the very New Yorkie Tyler Boom.
Moynihan. Why do I know that name?
He's Bobby Moynihan from Rick and Morty.
And a piece of toast.
Yeah.
Moynihan and piece of toast, they hate each other.
Yeah, so he's like a big staple of Saturday Night Live. He's starting to be in every single comedy now.
Yeah, but he and piece of toast finally shoved each other out.
Well, the thing is, like, he saw that Rick and Morty was like, fuck it, I'm out of here. This is not going to be my life for the next 30 years.
Yeah. No, he threw piece of toast under the bus and
Shit.
piece of toast ain't working in Hollywood no more.
Buses aren't good for toast.
Yeah.
And he was obnoxious. I really didn't think much of his character.
Wait, did you say he was Tyler or Scotty?
Tyler Boom.
Oh, so he was the son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he's meant to be Scotty Boom, then he's supposed to be kind of annoying. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Scotty Boom. So he must have been like fucking Hank Azaria or something.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, they were both fucking annoying. I hated the chef characters. Hey, we're New York. We're going to throw in New York references everywhere. Manhattan, the Bronx, Sex and the City tour. Hey.
Well, to be fair, like I said, Scotty Boom is meant to be kind of annoying, so
Yeah.
fair enough.
And you can assume then that his son would also be that kind of annoying.
Yeah, but he didn't have to be. Scotty Boom, fair enough, he had to be annoying because he's the
Yeah.
I was about to say antithesis, but that's wrong.
But I don't know, the only part where the obnoxious New York thing really played well for me is like when they're having that father-son rebonding moment at the end, and they're like, it's okay, I understand your attitude, kid. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I'm from New York as well.
Knicks suck. They suck so much.
That was pretty good.
That to me was a decent joke, but
Yeah.
everything else was...
Yeah, you picked it, by the way. Hank Azaria, Scotty Boom. They had to
that's
give him
their
something to
go-to.
do in this episode, I guess, because there was
Absolutely.
nothing else for him.
Also, Edward James almost playing the pitmaster and then the ghost of the pitmaster.
That's
Okay.
who that was. Good old Edward Jamos.
You need a meaningful, deep voice, go the almost.
Hey, Team Edward.
I was going to say either that. Oh, God. You know, the narrator from Big Lebowski, what's his name?
Oh,
Uh.
Sammy Do.
Sammy Cowboy.
Yeah, you know the one I mean.
Lebowski.
Sam Rockwell? No.
No.
Look it up. I'm going to fucking...
It's going to annoy me if I do not. So,
Okay,
yes.
Googling on the
Sam Neill? No, that's the New Zealand Lempton.
Googling. Oh, what?
Sam Elliott. Oh,
Sa-
thank
oh,
God.
How did I not know that?
Yeah, you should know that.
I don't know,
anyway.
Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah, he was decent. I just didn't like how they did the writing off his character where he comes in as a cloud and it's like, oh yeah, I died, by the way.
You know, that was going to be a Jordan Zahner corner. It was like, why is he a cloud, like a kind of a Mufasa kind of thing
Yeah.
happening? And then they just added, also, I'm dead now. And it was like, okay, fine.
Yeah, just another one of these problems with this episode that just like carelessly writing off at things in a not so funny way. I don't know.
You don't carelessly write out Edward James Olmos.
No, well, I mean, that's why they kept him in.
Yeah.
But then he appeared, like 4 times as a cloud throughout the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
Yeah.
And finally, Ben Schwartz is the guy with the hoop earrings.
Who the hell is Ben Schwartz?
John Ralphio.
Well, yeah, he didn't really add anything.
Yeah,
No.
that could have been anyone.
Yeah, it
really
really
could've.
could have.
It's a shame. That's a waste of John Ralphio.
Yeah, because it was more of a visual joke, wasn't
Yeah.
it? The hoops thing. What'd you guys think of that?
I really hated my hoops. But then later on, when they've got him essentially handcuffs in the loops of his own earlobes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did like
that
that.
was just a visual gag, and they just passed it and was funny.
Mm.
But yeah, I hate his my hoops.
Yeah, they sort of justify it with Bart jumping over Lisa covered in the rib bones and using the hoops again later, but it was like, yeah, okay.
It's a callback to something I didn't like to begin with. But like I said, I like the visual gag that came after it. So
Yep.
But the fact that his ears were like stretching so much when they were pulling on the ears and everything, and Bart was like kind of being so gymnastic with it. It was a
clearly-
bit.
yeah, it should clearly snap, and he lies on the ground bleeding, going, "Oh, that's assault, you fucker."
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's talk about the story of this episode. Now, of course, I'm going to bitch about this, the whole first act abandoning the initial point of the plot. Now, this episode especially bugs me because the whole abandoning of the fact that they stink because of their clothes, it's made actually worse by the fact that throughout the entire rest of the episode, they are still wearing attic clothes.
I thought that made it better. It was consistent because
At least
it
they
was
stuck
still-
to it. Yeah.
But they make no reference again to the washing machine until that fucking weird-ass post-credit sequence.
To be entirely fair, they kind of all get on board with the smoker so quickly that they're kind of like, well, we don't care if we stink. Food is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that got me, though, was that the fact that, like, in 2/3 of the episode, Lisa's wearing a pink tracksuit. And halfway through, I was going, why is she wearing that pink tracksuit? She never wears that. I'm like, oh, right, the attic thing. But her first choice was, like, a lampshade.
Something they could have done to help support that was when they're getting really popular because they have the smoked meat that everyone loves. That Marge could say something like, "No one even cares that we smell because we have such good food, and now we're popular again."
Yeah.
It would have been a quick little.
Well, the
you know,
smoker, like, infuses their clothes.
now we
with
smell like
this-
beef.
Yeah, and everyone was like,
Oh.
oh, you smell so good. Yeah.
I would be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Not even our stinky washing machine can compete with the awesome smell that our smoker makes.
Yeah.
and that's a line, and that patches that little gap just fine.
Yeah.
Talking about the beginning, because this is the part they've done this a couple of times, and it's weird as fuck. The whole school sitting down, and Principal Skinner's like, "I'm going to show you a movie now," and he shows them Dr. Dolittle, but it's a live action Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah.
It was
And
weird,
they've done
wasn't
a couple of live action jokes before, and they just feel so out of place. And
Like
so
when Homer
weird.
had that poster of Elizabeth Warren and it was
Yeah.
like an IRL. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
It makes no sense, and it looks so strange, because surely they'd be like, why do these people have 5 fingers? Are they
Yeah.
mutants? What's with their skin
Yeah.
color?
I think about it like, you know, when I brought up the point someone made about how Itchy and Scratchy is drawn in the same style, so it's hyper realistic to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
What would our world picture look like to them in the Simpsons world?
True.
Yeah.
I actually had a counterpoint to that itchy and scratchy bit,
Yep.
is that we see what a cat looks like in Snowball.
Yeah.
So Scratchy looks nothing like
But
Snowball.
I imagine it's like for us, like we see like a Bugs Bunny versus like a real bunny.
Simpsons brought into real life photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a hyper-realistic drawing of an anthropomorphic animal, I guess.
Yeah.
But this one, okay, it's made extra weird for me because they ditched the intro. There's no chalkboard gag. There's no
Too many
couch
gags
gag.
to fit in, Elliot.
Yeah, and they do it for this extended, long sequence of showing various scenes from Dr. Dolittle just trying to say, this movie is boring. This movie is boring. And the only connective tissue to the rest of the plot is Nelson at the end of it going, oh, this stinks. Hey, just like Bart stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, that was stupid.
So
like-
why did they do this Dr. Dolittle bit?
Did it just come into public domain, maybe?
Fox owns it, I think, so
Okay.
it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, there was the half-decent gag where the Fox logo comes up
Yeah.
and they're, boo.
But like Skinner doesn't even have a reason to do this. Like, why does he want to not have class as normal? It's just the whole, like, having an assembly, get some jokes from that assembly for whatever reason Skinner called it, and then have them go, oh, by the way, the kids stink.
It was supposed to be obviously like a short little PSA style thing because he said it was, we've cancelled the viewing of wearing jewelry while playing sports or something like that.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it's not going to be 152 minutes worth.
No.
So why are you something like, okay, and now we're going to also cut into lunch
Depends
and
how
the
many-
next period to...
Depends how many kinds of jewelry you're covering. If you're going
Oh,
all the way to a
maybe.
Prince Albert, then we know you have to spend a while building up to that.
Hey, in today's, like, I reckon there's probably at least 10 kids in every school with a Prince Albert.
Fucking kids these days with
Yeah.
their genital piercings.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was so disconnected and so inconsequential. Like, we're just clearing the school at the moment because there's a smell going around and we can't find where it is. There you go.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
at least some more connective tissue, but this whole thing was boring, and it was saying it was boring.
You know what? Have the PSA be about personal hygiene because we notice there's a stink in the school and we can't drag it
Hey.
down, and we think it's one of you filthy kids.
Yeah.
That leads to some really potentially funny material.
Yep. Bet they didn't.
No,
Oh, but also the fact, just because they show at least 4 different scenes from Dr. Dolittle.
yeah.
The fourth one, it's just Skinner singing along to one of
Yeah.
the songs. And I'm like, why don't you just cut that 20 seconds worth of animation? Like, I didn't understand. There wasn't a purpose to it, and that made it even worse, I think.
No, and I think they wanted to point it out the scene where he kisses the seal and
Yeah.
the kids go, ew, but no, it was...
It felt like one of the writers had like a spouse sit them down and force them to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And they wanted revenge on it. That's what it, because it's apper of nothing, and there's too much Dr. Dolittle for someone has a vendetta.
Yeah, totally.
At least show the Eddie Murphy version or something, something updated for the kids.
Or Dr. Screw Little. It sounds like such a delightful romp.
Just to round off the story, let's talk briefly and generally about the actual Smoker story
Sure.
and Homer's depression and lying on the ground all the
Yeah.
time. What do you guys think of all that?
Mixed, but I kind of liked it actually. I
Yeah.
think he had some good lines. I do like him just lying there, and Bart's like, just get drunk, and he's like, I don't want to, and it's just like that's when it gets serious.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they could have dropped the whole Bart going, that thing, but yeah, I do agree. That's like a funny bit.
Although with that, it wasn't a long drawn out. It
With
was
the
a
done, yeah.
It was a quick, and then cut to the next scene. I was like, okay, thank you for sparing me another 5 seconds of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think much of Bart and Lisa's turn when they were then like floor-ridden, I guess is the word for what
Yeah.
they were. Because like they just lost the Smoker. They saw the car, they saw the license plate. They could have like,
Well, unless it was one of those American ones where it was on the front.
yeah.
We don't know where it is, so we don't know what their license plate rules are.
Yeah, and I really didn't like the ute driving away, or the truck, as you Americans call it.
Yes.
The ute driving away with the back open. The Smoker on wheels would absolutely just fly off that the
Oh,
second
man.
the car drove off Jordan's anal corner.
Yeah, if I drove into my anal corner because I have a few more, but I'll save it because we may cover it.
I did like some of the lying down, giving up, especially when Maggie joins them at home. It's like, good job, Maggie, give up young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Bart when he's like, I'm a quitter and I'll back down to anyone who says otherwise.
Yeah, I did like that, but the Maggie one again bugged me anal corner because when they came back from the act break, she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Consistency, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I did like the idea of like Homer gradually like pulling everyone into his kind of apathetic just
orbit.
Vortex of depression.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it helped as well that most of them were like wearing tracksuits as well, because it was just that kind of that slob attire, like, oh, fuck it, life sucks,
Lent to the depressiveness. We'll talk more generally about the story later, but first of all, the wackiness.
There was a couple of little bits.
It was a grill made from a meteor. I don't know if that's wacky, just unlikely.
Yeah, when he kicked it open, it had a hinge.
Yeah.
Already.
Pretty wacky, unless it was an alien grill.
Which again, in the credits sequence, it is established that it is. So I will just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was made by the Bee people. Yeah, I didn't think much of the whole story behind it. Edward James almost talking about, this dates back to my grandpappy, and we passed it down through the years, and that it came with that hive-plated grilling, like that they hinged the episode on the hexagonal grill. Like you can buy that. Like,
can you?
It's just a grill shape. Like you can buy different grills.
You know what? It made it interesting though. Like, no, the meat.
It made it distinct.
Not the story. It made the meat interesting, and I want to get one now. That's the one thing I can take away from this episode is like, I want a kind of a beehive shaped grill.
Well,
now.
you just have to wait for that once every 200 years when a meteor from the B system on Earth B comes crashing into our Earth, which is Earth A.
Yeah, good.
Get it? It's a BB joke.
Get the fuck out. Wackiness. There was a talking rack of pork ribs.
Yeah, apra of nothing as well.
In a weird kind of British accent. Although someone
just wanted to say I love you, Homer.
I had another one. There was that bit towards the beginning of the second act, I think, because that was like after Homer discovers that the grill is there and he's lying on the ground, and Bart is trying to get his attention, and he comes up and he dribbles the basketball on his face. He skates on his belly, and he just drops the water balloon right on his face.
Yeah.
Hey Homer, like, what are you doing down there for? Like, paying no attention to all the annoyance that he'd done previously.
That felt
Why
to
are
me
you doing
like
that?
he was trying to stir him and nothing was working.
I think that ties into whole Bart's like, oh, cool, Dad's on the ground. I'm going to try and mess with him or something.
Yeah.
But I actually, jumping ahead to the heart, felt a little bit of a heartfelt moment between Bart and Lisa there where he was showing genuine concern for Dad. Look, he's just lying there. But then I didn't like how they had a random character doing leaf blowing in their backyard. Like, at least make it Marge. Like,
yeah, exactly. During that, I was distracted from the leaf blower because there was a great line. Lisa says something about, and smoke is terrible for the environment. And Bart goes, we're not talking about your boyfriend, the planet. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Season 27, you got me to smile.
But yeah, other heartfelt moments of this episode. Did you guys feel the heart between Homer and his smoker?
I mean, the smoking didn't really reciprocate.
No.
I feel like they could have maybe pushed that emotion a bit more of he's finally good at something and enjoying that.
Well, it wasn't even him that was good. It was just he bought the right equipment, really.
Yeah, you could still place some like false dignity in. I'm the best because I bought this, and it does everything for me. By the way, you can buy honeycomb grills. I just looked it up.
Oh, there we go.
That will be my next purchase.
But yeah, the heartfelt moment at the end where they brought it in with the chef and their son, like,
Buddy and Tyler Boom.
I thought that was more serving the joke than the heart, and then the heart of Homer and the Edward James almost cloud in the sky. I don't know. I was just rolling my eyes at the end there.
Well, actually, that's quite wacky as well. The talking cloud ghost person as well. I guess we probably didn't.
Yeah, I feel it's a good recurring bit, but I don't know. Just the way they handled it.
I guess it depends if it's implied it's in Homer's head or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else sees this cloud ghost.
He's there with his family at points, just talking to the sky, but then probably they think, Dad's weird.
Fixed it. The smoke gets to his head and makes him see it. Homer, who are you talking to?
Why didn't they do it like the smoke out of the smoker?
There we go. That his spirit is in the smoker.
Exactly.
That would have been creepier, actually. It's like, wait, are you haunting this?
The haunted smoker.
There's a part of me that I cooked in the smoker so that I'll always be with it.
It was one of my toes. Just hacked it off.
And he does
adds
say
to the flavor.
He does say it's never been cleaned before. So.
That's true. It's cased with the toe jam of my grandpappy.
Eesh.
So, had you guys seen this episode before tonight?
I had not. No.
I had.
Where?
Probably Kalara when we lived in the same house, and
That's true.
probably would have watched it then.
I actually first remember seeing it on a plane.
Ooh.
Actually, no, I think you're right. I think I watched it on a plane.
Could it have been when we went to America in 2015? 2016.
That was 2016, yeah.
When
Could have been.
went to America in
I
2016?
feel like that might have been it, actually, come to think of it. I remember thinking,
Yeah.
this is a good episode for a plane.
It's a plane episode.
Mm.
So did
Yeah.
it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, no one's off point. It lacks a certain momentum, and this is something I kind of find a lot of the HD one. There's this weird kind of silence.
Yeah.
It's hard to really pin down. I want to pay more attention to when we watch a classic one to see if it's present there. But it's almost, sometimes you can almost feels like you can hear an air conditioned hum in the background, whereas the others would have had like a little bit of backing music or maybe a little transitional music from one bit to another. But just a bit where one character will say something and there'll be a pause between the next character and there's just that empty space, and it feels much more prominent, and I'm not sure what it is exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, this should feel like an episode of The Simpsons because this is a Bart and Lisa detective story.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Homer finds a new hobby story and Bart and Lisa detective story, and
Which is interesting as well. I was just looking up air dates because they call it Q Detective. And then I didn't pick up. It's like, oh, it's like True Detective, of course. And at the end, they used the True Detective Season 1 song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But True Detective Season 2 started airing in June 2015. Are you a year and a half late? Or did you forget that there was a different...
Well, yeah, the episodes take like 8 months to a year to produce, so they're probably, making the old reference.
Yeah, also probably the reference to the better season.
Yeah, Season 2 was not.
I haven't seen it. I just heard it's Disappointment City.
But just quickly, what'd you guys think of that post-credit sequence?
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
So
stupid.
at least Marge gets the new dishwasher in exchange for Nelson.
And you're
but
like,
then-
this is how we're going back to zero. Okay, but then, Nelson's getting married with the smoker, and then we cut to the future where it's post-apocalypse. And
he's getting married to Shauna, and the smoker is catering.
fucking Shauna.
And
Shauna.
they're cooking frogs in there, of course.
And then there's a post-apocalypse bit with like Ralph and Jimbo and everybody, and then the bees.
And the pigs, the big wild boar that were
the
like
pigmen.
stalking them. Oh God, what was going on?
And then they all die.
It was just overkill. Yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
I'd probably skip it.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm watching this with people, I'd probably talk over most of this, but I'd leave it on. Or if I'm on the plane, I might watch it.
Wait, no, look how dumb this bit is. That's what you'd be saying. Yeah.
Look, to this episode's credit, and it's echoing what I said before, there's no high highs, there's no low lows, so it does sort of sit in this weird void of, like, tolerable zombie Simpsons.
Yeah, zombie is probably the best word for it. You just kind of go through it. You get some minor chuckles. There were some decent jokes. I'm seeing if I can find it right now.
But just jumping on that, what playlist would you put this in? And this is like a Homer Hobbies, not so much a Homer Jobs.
Yeah. It's like a Lisa and Bart
Detective thing,
yeah.
Episodes about grilling.
Parallel import
Ghosts.
Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Clash of Castles or whatever it was called.
Yeah. All right. So other parts of the story that we did or didn't like, I did actually like that interrogation scene with Nelson.
I was about to say.
Yeah. Oh, that's you're playing Clash of Castles there. Oh, pretty nice defense towers there.
Those defense towers cost gems.
Yeah.
Expensive gems. Gems cost money. Expensive money.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was really clever, but
I'm a grinder, okay? A grinder.
Yeah.
I did also like a back and forth between Homer and Marge. He's like, come on, just have a taste. He's like, no way. He's like, yes way. He's like, never. He's like, ever.
Yeah, no way, Jose.
Seaway.
Seaway, Josefina.
Yeah.
Yeah, little bits like that. I quite like that back and forth. It was quick and punchy. And
in that bit as well, they brought back Homer's like pig firework fantasy where they all explode into various pork products and stuff. And
meat angels.
Yeah, they were all raw, which was a little bit...
And everyone knows that when you explode pigs in fireworks, they're perfectly cut cuts of meat, come down cooked.
Yeah,
Damn
exactly. Right. I did like Marge's line as well with that bit with the, I finally understand gluttony.
Like, welcome to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind the joke at the start where Milhouse was like, for the Dr. Dolittle, oh, the running time is 157 minutes. And Nelson's like, the running time is now.
Yeah.
But then I didn't really need the hose bit.
Yeah, it would have worked better if everything around it was better.
Yeah,
Because, again,
absolutely.
why is Skinner even doing this? That's a waste of educational time.
Definitely. So did you have any other notes about this episode, Jordan?
Oh, I had quite a few. There was a bit where the smoke kind of covers the whole town and they all come like it's a...
they all come.
They probably... the way that they were describing the meat, it was like a oral orgasm. Nope. cut that. That's not
Were
what I
there
meant.
any other notes you had about this episode,
Yes,
Jordan?
Yes, sorry.
One's not about orgasms.
There was this bit where all the people come to the backyard to proffer their gifts in exchange for the meat that Homer is cooking.
Yeah.
His meat brought all the boys to the yard.
It did.
What were they like?
I call it coleslaw because it's mine.
Because I bought it. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
There's a bit where superintendent and comic book guy are just talking to each other, but it's just pure exposition, and I hated it. And I was looking at it.
yeah, comic book guy and Super Nintendo. Like, it was just, he's from such shows as something. It was,
Yeah.
It was almost like a Troy McClure bit. But
Yeah, which was weird because at that point we're in like the perspective, the camera perspective of the show, because you got a little watermark down the bottom right.
yeah.
So it feels like they could have just done make the intro to the show be the explanation to what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not have them stop and go, why, he's the person from Thing.
No.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb.
But yeah, the way they introduced him and also the way they had him out, I felt like that was really bad staging. Like where he was standing next to Homer and then they cut to him leaving and he's just jumping in his car.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, that just wasn't a fluid bit of animation.
It felt like reused, reversed bit of animation because he jumps out of the car and he jumps back in at the same angle, and I just wondered if they reversed it and just reused it because it's so far away from the camera that you can't really tell.
Yeah.
It might be because his line as well as he was exiting was such like a redub sort of thing. Like,
Yeah, when it was off camera and he's like, buy my cookware or something.
yeah, buy my cookware. Yeah, it felt like a redub, like definitely.
There was one bit I kind of did like as well, which was when Santa's Little Helper is like, oh, who's a smart boy, and he gets stuck in the peanut butter jar.
Yeah.
The sound work that they did where the dog breathing, but it sounds like it's
echoing
in a jar.
I
It
really
was
like that as
really
well.
good. And I was like, that sounds like the work that they've done, the Foley artist has done for that is really good.
And it's so what dogs do as well, and any dog owner will know that.
Yeah.
BT, did you have any other notes about this episode?
Let's see here. Bad times are always made better with good food. I like that as a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad
you
times, good food.
You could put that on a shirt or a tattoo.
Yeah.
Jordan, did you have any other notes about? Did you have any other anal corners for this
Oh,
episode?
yeah.
Jordan's anal corner.
Thank you.
John's little gone.
Nobody saw the switch of the meat. Nobody saw, because he said, my nana cooked it, and then when, they switched it, so it would taste good.
This was a big part of the plot that really bugged me, and they go, it's got different grill lines, therefore you're guilty? They didn't have really any reason to persecute him. They didn't have the grill there as evidence. I don't know why they did this ending. It felt like such a cop-out as well by also having the kid that we've never met before be a part of it. They didn't do anything to allude to him before. Anyway, sorry, yeah.
Now, my point is, okay, so his whole plan is to frame his dad so he'll be disgraced. Why not just let them keep their smoker? And if you're going to switch out the brisket your dad made for something else, switch it with a shitty one.
Yeah.
How hard is that? That's a one-step process.
It's way
your
better.
nan is clearly already in on this.
But then they don't have a story.
I know why from a practical build standpoint, but
Yeah, but that's the thing that bugs me, that it felt like you could have done so many different things for this ending, and it's not very clever having a character that we haven't met before be the reason of this whole thing and have you explain the whole thing.
Instead of this one-step plan, we stole our only competitor's only ability to compete, sabotaging our father by making the best in the world, but making sure you notice the grill lines.
Yeah, it's very weak.
And the last one was they established that people throughout the whole town can smell the hive. So if it was hidden behind a kale store, doesn't matter. Everyone
Kale
would
destroys all, including smell.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I've never had kale, so I don't know.
It's not bad. I mean, everyone gives it shit, but
It's really bitter. You'd need to pair it with the right thing.
It is too much fun to give it shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, just some quick fire notes just to end the episode. Down in the basement, Marge pulls out cash from Bender. This is a reference to the Simpsarama episode, which aired earlier in this season.
It's there.
I liked the joke where he flipped the acai and the goji berry signs. I thought that was very...
That was relevant.
I didn't like how Bart and Lisa were dizzy all the way following Nelson to the scrapyard after that interrogation sequence, though. I thought that wasn't the sound of them going whoa wasn't very funny, and I just didn't like it.
They should have stopped as they left the playground, essentially. It should have been like, okay, write yourself and then go. Because they only spun around, I think, about 4 times anyway, so it wasn't, like, major.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think the ways you fix that is pretty easy, where they sort of getting back their visions, like, after him, oh, whoa, okay, now after him.
Yeah, go after him. Which one? That one.
Yeah. Aim for the middle blurry one. I liked the joke Lisa had about, what are these things? They're like a TV, but they just keep going.
Yeah.
Referring to an old big back CRT TVs. That was kind of funny.
I liked how we just talked about them prior to watching the episode as well.
Yeah.
It's coming back again. Hey, professional musicians, who is Stan Getz again?
Oh, he's a drummer, I believe, a jazz drummer.
Oh, so why was he selling saxophone polish?
Oh, yeah, I did notice that. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe he is a saxophonist.
I didn't know, so I was like, oh, that's probably a reference that I probably should get, but I don't.
Yeah, he's a jazz musician. He worked with Miles Davis a bunch.
Cool.
That's how I know him, because I'm a bit of a Miles fan, and I've got the record with Stan Getz.
He is an American jazz saxophonist.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not a drummer.
Not a drummer.
Sorry for...
Edit yourself out saying drummer.
Getz was known as The Sound because of his warm lyrical tone.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
The Sound.
I might
Sound.
have to listen to more of his stuff.
Okay.
Listen to the sound.
Marge's rent-a-rack was a really weird joke that came back for some reason.
I actually like the callback.
Yeah.
I didn't like the initial one, but I like the call. Actually, kind of works. It's like,
why does it have a whatish? The
whip sound. It was weird. That's the bit I didn't get.
The only thing I liked about it was where the guy's trying her brisket and he goes, oh, what spices did you use in this? And she goes, all of them.
Yeah, that's a common mistake. You just like, oh, I like these flavors. Put them all together. Oh, nope.
And the trophy mislead was kind of decent, where he goes to pick up the trophy and then he spits in it. But then that means the trophy they get later still has his brisket spit in it.
Yummy.
Returns.
And I did like the visual of Lisa drowning in the bones.
Yeah, that was very, especially because you know she's a vegetarian at the stage. Yeah,
but the joke that the episode left on was with Homer talking to Ghost Dad, and they just get into this rant about Chinese food is good too. Depends on the place.
Yeah,
credits.
Yeah, it was.
I thought that was a lousy way to end the episode.
Maybe they knew they had the post credits, so like it doesn't matter what we end on.
Yeah.
Maybe they're talking about this obsession that Americans have with barbecue. And they're talking about, like barbecue is like the best or whatever. And then at the end, they kind of make a comment and other cuisines are just as good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took away from it. They're like, we're all obsessed about this. Chinese food's good, though.
Yeah. And they do sort of make a good commentary in that bit where they're taking half-decent cuts of meat but making them edible.
Which is exactly what happens. Remember, like lamb shanks and pork belly used to be super cheap and now just as expensive as everything else. One other thing. Milhouse even, because they prove that Lisa is smelly by Milhouse even coming over and going, sorry girl, you stink or whatever. He would totally stand up for Lisa, even if she did smell.
I like the way she stanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe that's like his thing. He's all about that Lisa, but smell? No, that's his one turnoff.
All right, well, it is time to rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the very bottom at failure. But maybe if the episode wasn't necessarily awful, it was just meh, you give it a participant. But if the episode's good, you give it a bronze, a great, a silver, excellent, a gold. But for the most essential, the ones that you have watched 1,000,000 times over the years and you still will watch 1,000,000 more because they are that essential Simpsons episodes, you give that one a cubic zirconia. And I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Guys, it's close to a bronze, but I can't. I don't have it in me. It's a participant and...
Nodding.
It's mostly because it's boring. And I think you really hit on something, Beach, the vast emptiness of it all. Like, that to me was what this episode was. Just incredibly empty. Some not extreme highs or lows, but just really pedestrian. BT, what are you ranking it?
I'm actually completely with you on that. I was like watching it going, I want this to get to a bronze. Just throw in a few good jokes and it'll get there. It's so close. But it's just okay. It passes the time, doesn't make any glaring, horrible errors.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't do anything well enough to really earn a medal ranking. So it is getting a participant. The whole time like skirting participant bronze. I'm like, just fall one way, definitively one or the other.
Yeah.
But I think it just falls shy, which is a shame. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good enough to deserve a medal.
Fair enough. And Jordan, round us off.
I always panic when you say, it's time to rank this thing, because I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about my ranking yet. And because you're always saying like, oh, halfway through I was thinking silver. And I'm like going, oh, shit, I didn't think about this at all. I got to be better prepared.
Picture a graph line and see where it's moving.
Yeah.
The worm, like in political debates.
That's right.
And then you've got, ranked on the five different categories and see where is it going up? Is it down? Where is it?
Good idea. Actually, maybe, Elliot, you get a whiteboard and we each hold a whiteboard marker and we just like start drawing on it.
It has to be people continuously running around with like a long sheet, and we could be like,
Yeah.
No, I agree though. It's participant. It was lacking in jokes, not even like haha jokes, but like the air blowing out your nose jokes either, like a slight little there was nothing like that, but it wasn't bad. So it was participant.
The big difference I make on this and other participants I've given is a lot of participants have been like, if I have to watch it, I'll watch it. Or if I've got literally nothing else to do, I'll watch it. This one, I wouldn't mind if it was on, but...
completely inoffensive.
Yeah, it's very zero.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this will join other such unanimous participants as Take My Life, Please. Thursdays with AB.
Yay, you got it!
Yellow Subterfuge, Brick Like Me, My Fair Laddie, My Fair Lady, and Friends and Family. Yeah, I feel like it's in the company it deserves to be. All right, well, we are going to take a break, and we are going all the way back to the teens era, where we're watching Simpson Safari. The Simpsons go to Africa. We'll be back.
I remember this one being kind of dumb.
It kind of is. And we are back, and we just watched our teens episode for this evening, which was Season 12, Episode 17, Simpson Safari. It was written by John Swartzwelder, and it was first released in April '01. In this episode, after finding an old box of animal crackers, Homer discovers that the family have won a trip to Africa.
In the past.
Yeah. So they go to Africa, and they do things there. Guys, what did you think?
It's, again, one of those ones I find hard to believe is a Schwartzwelder.
Yeah, I did actually a little bit of research into this episode. So the idea was originally pitched by someone else who spent some time in Africa. So it wasn't John Swartzwelder's episode. And then also after Swartzwelder submitted it, the writing team had another run over it.
Because the beginning feels a little bit like him.
Yes.
With the Bag Boys.
Yeah, and some of the reoccurring jokes in the episode I feel very Swartzweldian, but overall it doesn't have his vibe on it.
No, it does have some good lines, though, I will say that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one where I think a story is going to be the thing that lets this one down.
Yeah.
I wrote at the bottom, absurd, but entertaining.
With no nostalgia, rewatching it, I didn't really like it that much.
Well, let's cross this question off. Have you seen this episode before tonight?
I have.
How many times?
Several.
Fair enough.
I think I've seen it once before.
Okay.
And I remember it kind of being like, oh, is that the stupid one?
To be fair, it was not as bad as I remembered. I remember this being like cringeworthy beginning to end. And it's only really, it gets more and more cringeworthy.
So it's only cringy once they get to Africa.
Yeah. Everything before that's quite good. And in Africa, it is punctuated with some high points. But yeah, there's a lot of cringe in this.
Yeah, and it's another one where you can be fooled into watching it like, what's this one again? Because it's the first act is largely irrelevant from the rest of the story.
I do like how it flows though. Sorry, just cut in there. I do like how we get to going to Africa.
Yeah, I think I've seen this probably a good 20 or so times, but like, I think it loses its way about halfway through the episode. And definitely the ending with the diamonds, just drives me nuts every time. Yeah. It's not a good way to end the episode.
Yeah, I think the exact mark is when they are at the village and he's like, he welcomes you to his village. What kind of blood is this? Cow blood. Like that exact point, from there on, everything you can skip.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, and even before then, where they're running off the poachers and they go, oh, they'll be back. They left their cargo shorts.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that joke?
Poachers really like cargo shorts.
They've got to have a lot of pockets on their pants for all their different tranquilizer darts.
That's true.
Poached items and poached eggs.
But anyway, talking about the story, let's go back to the start with the Bag Boys story. What did you guys think of that?
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, but someone who's packing like a bag either at like a supermarket or whatever probably knows exactly how much a bag can take and in what order it's probably best going to be stacked so that nothing crunches or cracks or breaks or whatever. So I've never been like, oh, do it by color or whatever, you know. So it was kind of a bit like, this is weird. Is this something that happens in America?
Well, it's also a bit of a foreign concept because we don't have bag boys here. It's just the person scanning the stuff also bags. And it feels like one of those made up things, like people that pump your gas in America. Like, is that a thing? Can people not pump their own petrol?
But Costco, actually, even in Australia, they do have someone who's doing all the scanning and they have someone at the back who's like putting it either in your trolley or in boxes for you.
Costco I can kind of understand for the sheer volume of shit people are getting.
And this was at a Costmo, which is obviously a parallel import, but in terms of it, it's just like you don't get a choice. It's just because it's happening so fast. It's like at Aldi, you know, when they just like they scan stuff and you've got to quickly like bag it really quickly.
Yeah,
it's like that, but they're skilled and trained at like just putting stuff everything where it needs to go, and then just putting it in your trolley and you sending it on your way.
Fair enough. But the actual start of the episode, this is where some of my favorite material comes in. And I've quoted this one a million times throughout my life is, Dad, I need a bag of candy for school. And he's like, and Homer's like, okay, but get 5 in case we eat 4 on the way home. Like, love that joke so much.
Yeah. There were a couple of bits like where later on there was like, we need this for... And they just dump it in the bag.
Yeah, they're not even making up excuses anymore.
Yeah, and Homer's just like, my doctor and my bartender agree I should drink this beer. And
no, my garage mechanic. Yeah.
In the trolley.
The quote where you figure out why that they're there in the first place. He goes, I wish Maggie went to the emergency room more often. Like, oh my God, what's going on?
See, that line was like set up for something, but I don't like the payoff where...
Swallowed a magazine?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it was a Time magazine. And it's like, oh, good God.
Syrian Highlanders are taking control.
Yeah.
I like the bit only because of Maggie's reaction of looking like down at the x-ray of the magazine like, oh no.
What? The joke being that she's suddenly concerned about world affairs or something?
A little bit. It's just, it looked funny. It looked cute.
But yeah, the bag boy strike as well. I felt that unfolded. You know, of course, Homer, Agnes, and Moe are going to be the worst customers.
Yeah.
I have to bag like bottles of wine for people, and people can be total dicks about it.
Do they ever pull an Agnes like, I want everything in the one bag, but don't make the bag heavy?
Not quite that, but the way I have gotten, can you double bag this one bottle I bought? And it's like, one bottle.
It'll be fine.
It's gonna be fine. Things can take weight. I know that.
But yeah, it was all a bit of a, I don't know, really tenuous way for the Simpsons to run out of food, and then I liked the turn where it was Santa's little helper who smelled it out.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, where is it, boy? And he points them the wrong direction.
Yeah. Although they do say almost immediately before that, like, why can't we just buy food from the gas station or whatever, like normal? Or why can't they just go back to the Quickie Mart?
Also true.
Like they usually do.
Yeah, they don't have bag boys working there.
No.
Jordan, can you not poke perfectly reasonable holes in this otherwise convoluted and ridiculous plotline?
I'm very sorry.
You better be.
I did like that. Stupid Marge. Why can't we shop at the gas station? Like, why do we have to be so fancy? But yeah, them finding the animal crackers in the roof and then them going to Africa. It was so just strained for me.
Very, yeah.
I do like that he's won the 30-year-old competition and then goes to the cracker company like, no, we're not sending you to Africa. That's ridiculous. But the reason they do is because the box breaks and smacks him in the eye.
Yeah, it becomes a thing about them not wanting to be sued. And
yeah, because otherwise it would have been, I guess we better send you on this 30-year-old competition. Yeah. I like how they got there through that. Yeah, if someone's going, no, we're not doing that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, well, they literally say, we don't even make animal crackers anymore. We make household poisons and something like that.
And I did like the box as well. I want to shoot a lion in the face, fight Muhammad Ali, and go in a convertible with 2 zebras.
Happy zebras.
2 happy zebras, yeah. Or zebras, as they would say.
And just to round out the story, so what else about the story beats, for better or worse, do you want to mention about the Africa thing?
Definitely makes an unexpected turn come third act.
Yeah. I thought the turn with, like, them being stranded in Africa, I thought that was, like, pretty par for the course as far as, like, Simpsons go-to episodes go.
Yeah,
it was a natural progression, I guess.
And there's also the thing where, before we started recording, Jordan, you did look up they were intentionally made errors just to piss off fans. So I did look up the difference between Victoria Falls to Mount Kilimanjaro. 20-plus hour flight.
20-hour flight?
Yeah.
It can't be. It's only 20 hours to England.
Maybe it's like a light plane or something. I don't know, man.
Maybe it's 20-hour drive.
Maybe. It was like 48 hours by train. It's a long fucking way, is the point.
No, they really messed with the geography here, yeah.
I think they did it on purpose. One of the quotes is, it's like, we wanted to make it as crazy as like, oh, I got out of Grand Central Station, turned right, and I was on the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but a mistake you do on purpose. Put it this way, if I hadn't Googled that, I wouldn't have known it was wrong and therefore a joke.
Well, yeah, because they talk about Olduvai Gorge, there's Swahili, they talk about they do a safari. Well, there's Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a jungle. Victoria Falls, which is on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe. Like, there's all these different places that I mentioned, and they're all kind of over Africa. I mean,
Yeah.
it did annoy me. They achieved perfectly that sensation.
They got right up in your anal corner.
And I've got a few more. Anyway, you go.
Well, anyway, this kind of segues into the wackiness of this episode.
Oh, such
Now,
whack.
I think you can sort of forget and forgive all the geography wackiness, but the animal wackiness sticks out, and I think all of those are really positive notes.
The whole, what did you just see, Lisa? Yeah, I love that line.
With the rhino being born out of an egg, like, fantastic.
Giraffe underground. And
just coming up like a
Like a
prairie
limb.
dog.
Yeah. Although I didn't like Lisa's, oh, come on. That was one bit I'm like, you could have just skipped that bit. It didn't really add to the joke.
It would have been better as a, but
Yeah.
just the shock of seeing these things. She's been lied to this whole time.
One animal wackiness bit I didn't like was the bit in the car with the, you didn't see a warthog.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mom, these Barts are playing, I look like a warthog. Like, no, I mean that one right beside you that you didn't notice
It's
until
gnawing
now.
on your hair.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
It dragged out way too long, and like you could tell they were intentionally framing it to set it up, and it was just a really long way to go about a pretty simple joke. But the one bit of animal wackiness I loved was the hippo, where Homer's like, quick, let's escape in this shield in the water. Hippos hate water. Lisa's like, no, they don't. And then dragged off. And then the hippo does that little scared little...
He like tries to dip its toe. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, that bit's great. Also, like Marge looking at the cheating, going, it doesn't look so fast, puts the binoculars down. It's like right up in her face.
And, like, by the time she put her binoculars down, already came that
It's a
way.
good little visual gag.
Yeah. So what about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel some heart?
I did feel the diamonds.
Her heart for diamonds.
Yeah, her heart on for diamonds.
Yeah, I didn't really feel any heart. I'm trying to think of examples.
I guess they were going for like a misleading thing where you thought they were like defending the animal sanctuary against the poachers, but yeah, they were actually Greenpeace coming in and
to its credit, it does a good job of that fake out because we'd seen poachers earlier. So
Yeah, but were they poachers or were they Greenpeace earlier, or were they different people?
They were poachers earlier because they were putting something
Like
in a cage.
A cheetah in a cage.
And they had cargo shorts.
Or a leopard.
They had cargo shorts.
the telling thing. But yeah, I agree though. The fake out was good, and I guess conceptually the whole diamonds thing was good, but by the time they go, the mine is like 5 miles long. No, it's not.
It took a very hard left turn onto Wacky Street, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And while it wasn't entirely detrimental, I do kind of like Homer and Bart have coconut grenades.
Oh, yeah,
But,
coconutitov cocktails or whatever.
Yeah, and then Lisa and Marge like plucking the bees from the hive and like shooting them tail first to explode the things, and then
it popped the tires, yeah.
But then the Homer trying to do the monkey catapult.
Someone
set this monkey on fire.
Homer had a couple of great monkey jokes in that, like when he is in Joan Bushwell's Jane Goodall Palport, yeah.
Which is sad because they really shit on the image of like Jane Goodall, who did amazing work, but no, fuck her.
Yeah.
Diamond.
She's a diamond whore, apparently, according to them.
Yeah.
But the joke that they did in her place that I loved was Homer, he's sipping like a nice cup of tea out of very delicate china and goes, so I couldn't help but notice that this place smells like feces and not just monkey feces.
We talk about something else.
And then he's just like,
it is pretty good.
It's like, what else do you bring up in a place?
yeah. No, that was great. So let's do another question. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
It felt like a Simpsons Goes To, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it like combined almost with like a clip show with a tenuous kind of link. It was like, we wanted to do these set pieces. Yeah. How can we make the script fit that?
Yeah, and even without the geographical jokes, it was still, Bart, go to the top of that hill. What, you mean Mount Kilimanjaro?
Oh, that was laboured.
Pause for applause right now. Woo, they'll be going crazy. Yeah, it was just, I mean, that's always the problem with any kind of like Simpsons go-to, but still. I'm curious, how do African people feel about this? Because I know we kind of love the Simpsons Go to Australia episode because it's kind of bullshit and we kind of love its bullshitness.
This is my problem with it, in that they say Simpsons go to Africa, and in every other thing it's been like Simpsons go to Japan or Simpsons go to Australia, which is kind of, it may not be one whole culture, but it's pretty much one country. And this is Africa, and it's like we're going to put all the African stereotypes in one big thing, when really they're all very different cultures, and they fight fucking terrible wars over how different they are, and I just didn't like.
And this is accentuated in the scene where they're doing like dancing and they are drinking cow's blood. They based the models and homes and look of those people on a particular tribe. I don't remember which one. Check the Wikipedia. But then they had Lisa with the neck rings and Bart with the lip disc, which wasn't part of their culture and was very much a part of a tribe several thousand kilometers away.
Yeah, well, they say like the Maasai tribe because they've got the two people like doing like jumping either side of the fire. But then they blend all this other stuff, like this is Africa, like the country of Africa, and you're like, ugh.
And that's what makes it feel like whiteboard writing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as feeling like an episode of The Simpsons, I don't think the characters are also particularly off. Like, Homer's a little bit of a jerk-ass, but not in a bad way, really.
He's much closer to the lovable idiot in this one.
Yeah.
I do also like when they get eaten by the plant, as was a staple of movies in like the 30s when they went to Africa and stuff. He just kind of rips his way out. I was like, it's a flower.
Yeah. How could you possibly defeat this towering enemy, Dad?
Casually opens it up like it's a door.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, so, but overall, and I think the jokes were pretty Simpsons-esque. I mean, we were laughing throughout the episode. It's just, I think the story's going to be the big thing that's letting this down, and it does sort of highlight the weaker moments of this episode for me.
I think there were some laughs, but there were also some things that really made me cringe. Yeah. Which were kind of like, oh, does that negate the laugh that you just earned? And how many cringes to laughs ratio?
What's the exchange? We need to check down at the currency exchange for that one.
Exactly.
But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
You know what? I don't think I would. I think I'd skip it. There's nothing here that I really, 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 really desperately want to see. There's no one joke that stands out about the rest. I'm like, it'll make it worth it. I think I'd skip it. Yeah.
Okay, BT?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Outside of the what did you just see, Lisa, and it's a flower, I don't feel like there's any reason for me to hang around on this one. Whereas the last one was kind of inoffensive enough to just kind of have on, and I would just go with it. This one, it's just... Probably because it does go through that decline. It starts off reasonably well. You're like, okay, I can get into this. Yeah. And then it just slowly descends minute by minute until you're just like, it's just all diamonds. And by the way, just doing a little bit of quick research, I realized things like carat and cut come into it. But the most valuable diamond in the world, which is about 31 million, would fit into your palm. Bart was holding two that were bigger than half his head.
Yeah. And so Homer and Marge had like shirtfuls of like at least 2 carat diamonds, which would be worth, 20-25 grand each.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was a cubic zirconia.
Or they did that offhand joke with the monkey, like, I found another diamond. That's a zircon, you fool. Yeah.
I just got to check. So is the joke that like because zircons are like artificially made?
No, they just look like a diamond, but they're pretty much worthless.
But how do you find them? Are they in the ground like diamonds?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're crystal, but they're not like carbon like diamond. Maybe.
Okay.
I once did a lot of research on cubic zirconias because we said it a lot, and I think they're like in the same family as the cubic zirconia, or whatever the fuck it works with geology. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, although like it's a different name for it or something like that, so they're pretty damn close.
But they are a geo though. They aren't like just plastic that's like shiny.
No. They are. Yeah, they're made from zirconium silicate. So it's a mineral belonging to the group of neosilicates. So I think they're just common. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think from the thing I was reading, it's like a cubic zirconia is a zircon, but a zircon is not a cubic zirconia. Something like that.
All right. Well, yeah. Mostly we probably won't. Like, I think I could watch this episode again, and then I'll walk off and make a sandwich halfway through at some point.
Yeah. Again, once they actually get to Africa, after you've seen what did you just see, Lisa?
Yeah.
You can walk out and go make your sandwich.
But yeah, if we were going to put it in a playlist, I think this is just an easy Simpsons go-to episode, and put it at the back end of the playlist when people are like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah, actually, you know where I would stop?
Mm-hmm.
It's the bit with the. Did you tip Katonga or whatever?
No,
he did not.
Yeah.
And then I'd stop.
See, that's the thing. There's some
Oh.
actually good lines in this. What kind of bugs me, it's not a better episode.
Yeah, and in that same scene has another one of my favorite jokes of Bart like, oh, these mosquitoes are all inside. Oh, you got the fly net inside out, and turns it inside out, and mosquitoes immediately out.
So dumb.
It's so
I
dumb,
know,
but
but
I love it for its
did.
wackiness. Yeah.
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 A couple of things I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Either was
What other
the-
notes do you have for this episode, Jordan?
Were getting hidden by a crocodile. It's just like going to sleep in a blender. Like
I love his nonchalantness there.
yeah.
And in that same scene as well, it's okay, I've got a map. And he's like holding, is that the animal crackers box?
Yeah, it still is.
Well, according to the map here, there is no water. It just goes to step off. Oh, and in that same scene as well, like to the episode's credit, it didn't completely abandon the first act because they're just floating down the river. I wonder how that bag boy strike is going.
Yeah, this is true.
Also in that bit it's a kind of joke I really like where it's assumption that someone who's speaking a foreign language is saying terrible things, but in actuality they're being super nice.
Yeah.
It's a very specific type of joke.
Oh, yeah.
But I really like there's like tribe of African
Yeah.
people watching them with spears and they sound like they're really aggressive. They're just saying, oh, look, strangers, the best kind of new people.
I will show them a picture I drew today.
Yeah, I know.
They will like that.
So there's things like that, and when Lisa gets lost in like Little Russia, and
Yeah,
there's those two people who are like, she asks for directions, and they very aggressively say, "Sure, I'm glad to help." Tips over the chess piece. Good game. Do you want to have another one?
Yeah. No, it's good misleading subtitle
Yeah,
jokes.
I
humor.
always enjoy that kind of humor.
Did you have any other notes about this episode, BT?
I really don't think so. This is kind of. Oh, sorry. Another good line from the tour guide is like, he
Yeah.
led a bloodless coup. That's right, all smotherings.
But then Homer goes, just like Jimmy Carter, and I don't think I got that reference because
Jimmy
again,
Carter
it's probably
killed people. I don't know. He's
You
like the
don't
most-
say that he's still alive. He might
Wait,
come get you.
wait,
Come
was-
at me, Carter.
Wait, was Jimmy Carter the one that took over after Kennedy?
I don't think so, but I'm not.
No,
Did
that
he
was LBJ.
Was it?
Little Benny Jim Jams.
Oh yeah,
The great President Little Benny Jim Jams.
that's terrible.
That's what they're talking about in that Puff Daddy song, The Benjamins, you know.
All about the Benny Jim Jams.
Okay, so Jimmy Carter was after Gerald Ford, who took over after the resignation of Nixon.
Okay.
That still doesn't really make a lot
Well,
of sense.
Scooby Doo can doo doo, but Jimmy Carter is smarter.
And I did like the whole twist with Katenge that at the end, yeah, he was the new president and Muntu was their flight attendant. I thought that was funny.
Although, continuity, Marge shouldn't really have laughed at him because her father, too, was a flight attendant, and that scarred her for many, many a year.
Maybe she got over it by learning to mock him.
Maybe. True. Okay, fair enough. There was one little thing that wasn't called attention to, but I noticed, and
Yeah?
I kind of liked it, was Santa's little helper leads them to the animal crackers. So he picks up the lunchbox, blows the dust off it, opens it, pulls out the box of animal crackers, blows dust off that, opens the animal cracker, gets an animal cracker out and blows dust off that
Yeah.
again, and then puts it in his mouth. And I was like,
Right,
yeah,
that's
I didn't
pretty
pay
good.
attention to it. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so those are something I associate with a Swartzwelder episode. Those like continuous, like
Yeah. But that, however, had to make up for the terrible joke that just preceded it,
Yeah.
which was Lenny at the checkout with all the stuff in his arms.
Yeah.
He goes, nothing's going to stop Lenny from having a casual party. And then Carl is there in a full tux with top hat going, casual.
Yeah, that was very waka waka derpy joke for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one that I was like, oh, don't say that. When they find out they're going to win a trip to Africa and they say, Africa, they'll have food there.
I think we all did
Yeah.
that. Dole.
No, I was just going to say we also had an unintentional theme of body modification, I guess you could call it.
What? When?
Because you remember they had the hoops,
Oh,
my useless
of
cage's
course.
hoops.
My hoops.
And then they had the lip disc and the neck stretching thing here.
That's right.
So
All
who
right.
knows will we get?
Yeah, well, the classic episode close this one out.
Yeah, that classic era episode where Homer got his belly button ring, of course.
Oh, where Bart got the earring, maybe.
Yeah, you've done the
Oh, that was last
You've
week.
done the
Damn
sparkle
it.
sparkle. You've
Shit.
done
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, it's one for the body mod playlist. Did you have any anal corners?
Oh, did I ever?
So, Jordan's anal corner.
Anal corner.
It's my anal corner.
You don't get to sing it. It's not fun when you do it.
Only I may dance. Like, okay, when they're trying to capture the cheetah at first, they drive up. They're like 10 meters away from the poachers. And they're like, look, poachers. And the poachers are just like ignoring them. Like they can't see them. If you're a poacher, you would have lookouts for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They were busy poaching.
Okay, fine. They had a live cheetah, or leopard. I think it was a leopard. I think it was.
Yeah, when you have a live angry cat, you
Yeah.
are keeping all eyes on that damn
Even
cat.
if it's a domestic cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why the hell is there a hippo in the village? That's so fucking dangerous.
It's true. They kill a lot of people, don't they?
Yeah, super high death toll.
Oh, yeah, they are aggressive. You are more likely to die from hippo death than you are from a plane crash.
Or a black mamba.
Probably.
Well, you know the old saying, a hippo in your village, you won't get robbed and pillaged.
That is a saying.
That
they
is
say.
now a saying.
It rhymes, it's a saying.
Smart motherfucker. When Lisa looks at the chimp research, like, oh, this is all just famous monkeys from thing, and they're all apes, like King Kong and like Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes. They're apes, they're not monkeys, and
Do you
she would
think-
know that.
Do you think that was maybe one of the intentional mistakes to piss people off?
Maybe, but why do that in a show? Like, unless your show is centered around pissing people off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. The whole concept of making intentional mistakes to piss people off, I do question. But are you angry?
I was angry
Then-
at that because it didn't feel like Lisa. At least we
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't call them monkeys.
But, well, whether or not it was a good idea, mission accomplished.
Yeah, it did. It pissed me off right off.
But yeah, I seem to remember in this episode that they did correct Homer at some point on that, where it was like, they're not monkeys, they're apes, or whatever, vice
Something
versa.
like
Possibly.
But just on that, I did love Homer's line of where they first see the first monkey. And Lisa goes, look, we'll follow it. Maybe he'll lead us to more bananas. And Homer goes, or maybe to more mouth-watering monkeys.
yeah.
That was good.
Although chimps are pretty psycho. Like, I
Yeah?
mean, like even in Taronga, like they're out there, they are like, well, they're hyperactive to begin with. But yeah, they are just, they can kill you. And they have wars. They have like wars and they kill each other quite frequently.
They have poets who lament those wars.
Yeah.
You ever heard the expression of come at you like a spider monkey?
Yeah. They have
And Bob Dylan's song "Throwing in the Wind," which is about ape-on-ape violence, about throwing feces.
They have like chimp bards that record their natural history.
Yeah.
And why did the rest of the monkeys like Jane, whatever? It's Jane Goodall. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So why did the rest of them like that when they know that their brethren are stuck toiling away in a diamond mine?
Yeah, they're essentially slaves.
Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome? Monkey version Stockholm.
Probably.
This
Or they're
is Africa, not Sweden.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine.
Well, maybe she has like a couple of monkeys she treats well for like visitors and stuff, and the
Yeah.
others are all the tortured souls.
Ooh, or the apes know that if they are nice, they'll like get treated well, and they don't have to go down the
Maybe.
mines.
This could be like a sophisticated psychological conditioning
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
of monkeys.
Terrible.
All right, well, I've just got a couple of quick fire notes about this episode before we rank this thing. I love the line where the bag boys have just gone on strike and Homer's still causing a fuss, and the manager goes, Mr. Simpson, will you please go home?
Yeah, as though there's a history of this.
Yeah. I didn't like when Ken Brockman's reporting about the strike, and I liked the joke where he was like, the local sack stuffers union, the grocery fruit packers and unpackers.
Yeah,
and
the shelf dusters union.
that's the one. But then I didn't like his ugly waitresses one, and where one just pops out from the corner and goes, Kiss my grits.
Yeah.
Like, that was some of that very hee-haw writing that I'm really not a
Yeah.
fan of.
Would have been better, like folksy waitresses.
Yeah, folksy, yeah, but calling them unattractive, you're like, come on.
Yeah, not every woman who says "kiss my grits" or "y'all come back now"
No.
is
And
unattractive.
also, if they're nice to you and they don't spit in your food, they're a damn good wait person.
You can't have some low bars there. Nice to me, didn't spit at me. 10 out of 10.
Well, spit in the food. They can spit at me, just not in the food.
I like when they're looking for food and Marge finds cream of toast.
Oh, yeah. What was the other one? It was like something jerky.
Sulfur jerky?
Sulfur jerky.
Yeah.
Oh.
What
did you guys think about the evil is coming. You are Nagongo now.
I liked the Yoa Nagongo line,
Yeah.
but I thought the very, the Simpsons are coming, I don't know. That line just doesn't land.
Our
with me.
crazy witch doctors can predict this. Yeah, it was a bit. I think saved it by you don't go now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, I think, again, I'm always looking at it through today's lens and going, this is a little bit insensitive.
Yeah.
Hey, insensitive for sure. Is it offensive though? That's the question.
Bordering on,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Again,
I
with
think I just enjoy any good. If I give you the stethoscope, now you're the doctor, and I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Kind of gag, that kind of thing.
Instant promotion.
Yeah.
The Lion King, what do you call it? Tribute? Homage, thank you. That I felt was dragged out and a little too unnecessary, but I did like the gag of Homer going, oh, the odometer just clicked over.
The 10,000 click.
I really, really didn't like the whole witch path cliche to go down the whole, there's the rainbow sunny side and then there's the fucking certain death road.
I was kind of hoping they'd choose the rainbow sunny side and they go, oh no, they've gone down the rainbow path of death.
Yeah. I think it was too many.
Yeah. Drawn out a little bit too much.
Yeah. But no, that could have been funny. Yeah, the rainbow in our culture is a sign of certain doom.
Yeah.
Whereas the withering trees and swirling black death, that's great.
Yeah, the elephant graveyard. Oh my God, take the kids.
It's just so scenic.
I've just figured it out. The rainbow is because that's where the fucking waterfall is, because there's the spray and that's where the rainbow is.
Nice.
Boom. I didn't like Marge's whole thing where she's like, "Oh, Dr. Joan Bushwell, he must have a very nice wife or whatever," and then
He named it
Lisa's
after
like,
his wife.
"Yeah," and then Lisa's like, "No, it's a lady," and she's like, "A woman, doctor? I've heard everything." Why is Marge saying that? That's so wrong for her.
Although I don't know. I think Margie is like stereotypical, that old idea of housewife.
I know, but I don't think she's like one of those a lady doctor sort of people.
Yeah.
Well, then again, in the previous episode, there was that quote that she said that was about like, oh, I only thought like the clothes smelled from working mothers or something like that. So I don't know. They're always trying to imbue her with this old school thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with it.
It's landed a lot better though. Like there is that good bit where Lisa's talking about never getting a date and like, I'm going to be like this famous male author and he's kissed more boys than I have. And Marge just goes, girls, boys kiss girls.
Yeah.
Not because she's like, terrified or homophobic or anything, but just was like,
I don't understand. I think you've made a mistake.
I believe you've made an error.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas this one, she was like, a lady doctor. Like,
Why never?
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
There was one thing I liked as well. They went to the old Divide Gorge and it twigged a memory in my brain that has been stored there obviously
That's
for
where
20
we put
years.
most memories.
Yeah. They talk about the old Divide Gorge and it reminded me, I'm like, I can see the Far Side cartoon in my thing where the caption is anthropologist horror films and it's like, it came from old Dubai and it's like the skeleton like coming out of the screen. Yeah.
Shout out to all our Gary Larson fans out there.
Exactly.
Just a final couple of notes. I like in the end how Lisa didn't take any of the diamonds. In the last scene, she didn't have any. I thought that was a nice touch.
Speaking of diamonds, was that a quote like, oh, she even put diamonds on the soles of her shoes? Is
It's
that
an
from
old
a song?
song or something, yeah.
They told him like, that sounds like it's from...
But it was very much, Marge was holding the shoe to the camera and it was
See?
like... Yeah.
Diamonds in the shoe. Yeah.
Like if they were in a desert and they're like, this horse has no name.
Are they in an American desert?
Huh?
Are they in an American desert?
I don't know. I'm just making up a hypothetical.
Was it America that did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you now.
I got it.
There was a weird moment where, when Lenny was shopping, he was wearing a hat, and you're like, okay, now you know that's going to come into it. And the bag boy goes, oh, and then we'll mess up your hat. And then he clutches it, and it's like...
Not my precious hat. I've worn this once.
Yeah.
Actually, that joke could have almost saved it. Like, no, I just got this hat.
Yeah. Easy fixes. And finally, I'll just mention that the only guest star for this episode listed was Frank Welker, who is an amazing voice actor who does like all the animals in everything. Apparently, he is on like the Academy's like top earning actors because he is just in so many like $1 billion franchises.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
If you need animal sounds, that's the guy you call.
Yeah, and he hasn't done many like human speaking roles, and the only one he's done is Nibbler from Futurama because he was already doing
the voice.
animal voices for that. Yeah,
He's got quite a good voice then.
yeah.
And he did do Megatron as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
In the
some of them.
series or the?
I think the movie, and
Yeah.
I think he does it in the latest Michael Bay movies as well.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, it is time to rank this thing. BT, kick it off.
Let's just get some more sound of me sucking my teeth. Yeah, this one is okay. I know where I want to sit, but I've put the last 4 things I've ranked in participant, and I'm starting to wonder if it's me that's wrong. Because this one starts pretty strong. I think that's my biggest problem with it. And the reason it hurts so much for me is that it's disappointing in the sense that it started quite well and then just devolved quite in almost a consistent line. The ending is it just descends into wackiness and then it just kind of happens. But I cannot feel like I can give this anything higher than participant.
All right.
So I'm going to participant. And let me try out bronze. Bronze. Nope. Participant. Yeah, there it is.
All right, Jordan.
I don't know whether I'm just being like a delicate flower or something like this, but it did make me kind of cringe in an uncomfortable way, not just like what a bad joke, but some of the things that they did. And I know it was of the time. When was this released? In
August 1.
Still feels like we should know better.
I still feel like you shouldn't be making those kinds of jokes, but again, we've got the benefit of hindsight. I'm like on the border of failing it, but it wasn't as bad as some things we've seen. Like it wasn't like a Pennywise guy is kind of bad.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'll go participant as well. It made me feel uncomfortable in parts, and I didn't like it.
Nope. Fair enough. All right.
While last episode was I'd say that was like a high participant. This is like a low participant for me because I know that you've kind of talked about that. Like I think about they're both like the participant, but like if I was going to scale them, the last one would scale up, this one would scale down.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Because like I feel like I'm marking nice because I am giving it a bronze and I'm acknowledging all of its failings, all of its cringeworthy moments. But I'm saying the jokes in it are good enough to rise it up. Just like this is a very low bronze for me. And
yeah, and it's one of those where the couple of lines I do really, really like. What did you just see, Lisa? Is something I've said to people.
Yeah. And yeah, it's one where it's interesting that so many of these quotable moments happen and you're like, wow, I can't believe it's from this episode.
We have thought before of making a book of great quotes from bad episodes.
Yeah. No, that could be like the new clip show. Okay, well, that'll make it a shiny participant all around. Not a very popular category. No. This will be joining such episodes as Marge Gamer, The Bob Next Door, Love is a Many Strangled Thing, and Dangers on a Train.
Yeah, that all seems about fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, episodes that have got inherent problems that have definitely got some laughy moments in them.
Episodes that have annoyed some people, and others have kind of just been meh.
Yeah.
Some of them have been cold, unfeeling robots.
All right, cool. Well, it's about time we get into the classic era segment.
About dang time.
And we're going to watch Bart's Friend Falls in Love. We'll be back.
And we'll all be keeping an eye out for body modification.
And we are back, and we just watched our classic and final episode for this evening, but before we get to that, we just have a quick corrections index to do tonight.
Gasp.
We said in the previous episode we were all together with Phil that a dork meant a whale's penis and a dude meant a camel's penis. This is completely wrong. The myths that they do mean those things predates any common usage of people using those words to mean those things.
Dean Cain lied to us.
Believe it
to my face as well.
Via a television. What a bastard.
Rick Dean Cain is.
You think you can trust people, especially people who portrayed Superman.
My trust is shattered.
Yep.
I'll never believe TV again.
It's all right, because there are still plenty of names for dick, like penis and cock.
And cock and penis.
Yeah.
All right, well, tonight we just watched Season 3, Episode 23, Bart's Friend Falls in Love. This was written by Jay Kogan and Wallace Wolodarski, and it was first released in May 1992. In this episode, Bart gets very jealous when Milhouse falls in love with the new girl at school, Samantha Stanky. And in the B story, Homer attempts to lose weight with subliminal messages tapes, but instead just increases his vocabulary to hilarious extremes. Guys, what did you think?
Pretty good.
I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's charming as fuck. This is a very nice refresher.
It's definitely a good way to put it, charming. That's very accurate.
Yeah. But just talking about the story first off, let's talk about the Homer story. It's brief. It's only about 4 scenes, but man, they put in a lot of work into his vocabulary here.
I I had to write down some of the sentences because I'm like, these are fantastic.
I brought up Frinkiac just for this very purpose as well.
Then do go on.
Lamentably, no, my gastronomic rapacity knows no satiety.
Satiety. Yeah. And then, in bed, when they're in bed, he goes, "Ooh, the gourmand metamorphosizes into the voluptuary."
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, I like how he rips off her, like, hair thing with his teeth. Like, chucks it away. Oh, my God.
So was it the gourmand?
A gourmand.
The gourmand.
Yeah.
Metamorphosizes.
Someone who really likes food.
As they said at the end, gourmet. It's like a
gourmet, but fatter.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Because I got all the other words, but I didn't know gourmand.
And I like as well, I really like as well how Bart is on the phone.
Yeah.
Dobbing in Milhouse, like doing the... And he goes, a Machiavellian countenance, like, which is the expression is like one of like evil.
Oh, is that what he's
pragmatic
saying?
Evil, yeah.
He notices that Bart's scheming this thing.
Hey, he knows what Bart's doing and comments on it just such a casual way, though.
And then says,
"A sextative ale."
Yeah. It is so fantastic. Like you can spend half the time writing this episode was put into cross-referencing a thesaurus.
I have a really bad thesaurus. Not only is it terrible, it's terrible. That's not my joke. Sorry.
Nice.
Good. And in the A story as well, I thought this was a really cute way of playing, young kids' understanding of romance.
Yeah, exactly. I really like Marge's line of, Bart's like, "Oh, they just do this kiss. How cute. They don't open their mouths, do they?" No. How cute.
Yeah.
It's that kind of very innocent, just like, they don't really know what love is or anything. But,
no, they don't even know why they like each other so much. They're just attracted, and Bart especially doesn't know why they like each other. Come on, Milhouse, we're living in the age of cooties.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very innocent and quite sweet, actually. But destined to fail. Or, like, as Milhouse says, it started off like Romeo and Juliet, but ended in tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing line.
Hasn't read the whole play.
Yeah, and even, like, Milhouse starts to become a lot smoother, and, when you're just about to eat an Eskimo pie and you wait until it melts a little.
But she doesn't melt.
Oh, yeah, she does.
That made me snort a little bit in the episode, because I'm like, yeah, they do melt.
It's amazing watching an episode with Milhouse, who he's starting to get life is starting to give him a break.
Yeah, he's advanced ahead of Bart a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not that Bart's wanting to get a girlfriend or anything. No, he just wants his friend back.
Yeah, and he doesn't. He's light in the air. It's like they all look the same to me. Milhouse.
All right. Well, we'll get back to all that in a moment. Play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
I will say some.
Jordan?
Several, yes. Several watches.
Yeah, I'll put this in about my 30 to 50 range. Like, it's actually one that I don't remember revisiting that much as a kid, and I gotta say, I think it's probably because I wouldn't have understood it. I think this one, like, especially the vocabulary storyline, makes a lot more sense as an adult. Because you can pick up on, like, every other word that Homer's saying.
I should have said something to the effect of, "Oh, our Grand Master of Ceremonies, not that I've certainly witnessed this at least 2 score.
Any special impact or memories that this episode has had with you over the years?
Yes. We're going to, discuss sex in an open and no-nonsense way. And then it's like, yeah.
Fuzzy Bunny's Guide to Making You-Know-What.
Yeah.
Another fantastic appearance by Troy McClure, Phil Hartman. Rest in peace, man.
Which I wouldn't have gotten the joke of, like, we're going to discuss this in a really adult way. And then just the euphemisms they go through is just incredible.
Yeah, well, I really love how they keep it very, very G-rated the whole time. They go, "That night, the honeymoon." He plays porno music and music ruffle. She's faking it.
No, that's great. And such a great commentary on, how sex education is dealt out with Troy McClure at the end. Now you know how it's done. Don't do it.
I really like, just before that, a joke I never really picked up before was before they roll the film, they go, "Ezekiel, Ishmael, you may go outside in accordance with your parents' religion, you may go outside and pray for our souls."
And they just walk out there like the sickliest looking kids you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Which, again, feels like something that's still going on now. It's like, you can't teach that to my kids in school.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It's just so brilliantly handled and such a great look at society as well. And I think they do that very well in the advertisements that Homer's watching with all those foods that are just loaded with rich creamery butter.
Yeah.
I really love when Lisa pitches him the idea of subliminal messaging. He's like, subliminal messaging? Oh, Lisa, that's a bunch of rich creamery butter. It's already
because
got in his head.
Yeah, he's writing off the idea of subliminal messaging.
Yeah. I love both those ads. That's like, we take 64 slices of American cheese, grill it with bacon, add an egg, and it's like really soft tone, seductive voice.
We call it the Good Morning Burger.
Then we dust it with 4 different kinds of sugar.
Sugar. Yeah. Oh, this was an excellent episode tackling Homer's weight loss, and in a way that totally lets them reset back to zero.
Yeah, I was going to say there were things that I don't think I would have gotten on first viewing. Oh, I don't know if I would have seen Indiana Jones the first time I'd seen this. I would have known there's a bit with a ball, like a giant stone ball.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't have known. But now that I, obviously, having seen Indiana Jones a couple of times and watching this, it's like so good, the detail that they pay attention to. I really love this.
So bringing us back to the start of the episode, it opens up with this excellent Raiders of the Lost Ark homage. I keep going to say montage in this episode when I mean homage.
It's a montage.
Montage.
You know what we need? We need a montage of you learning the difference.
Yep.
There's just me with a whiteboard, and there's homage, and then an M, and then I'm pointing between the two, and then I hit you because you get it wrong.
And then the first you're like shrugging, you're like, what?
I'll never get this. But then later I'm like, yeah. Yeah, there's this brilliant homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark at the start, and I swear I really want to watch these side by side and see how many of these exact shots that they did.
Yeah, like I think the straight down the barrel with like the rock behind, and then the running across the camera with the darts.
Yeah, and Maggie's shooting him with the little the plunger shooter.
Yeah,
and I love just a simple at the start where like Bart like touches his chin in the same way that Indy does.
Yeah, that careful consideration before he steals it.
The light shining in, and
like grabs doesn't just like pick it up, but like does it in the same way.
Yeah,
like tosses it to one hand, and it's really good.
Yep.
Going underneath and like getting the hat, and then like him like waving his hat as he goes away in the bar. Like everything is so
Homer's
good.
Just shaking the rake.
Yeah. So this is one of Homer's incomprehensible babblings that I love because it's doing an homage to Raiders as well. And when he's chasing after him and he barrels down the stairs and they make Homer get bigger in frame.
Yeah.
They really paid attention to the tracking of these shots and making sure the homage was spot on. And as well, like when Homer runs into the garage door.
Just his belly and his forehead burst through.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a belly and forehead or if he'd like somehow spun and hit the back of his head because you can't see any of his face or anything. So I was like, did he just mash his face or did he like trip and like fall backwards?
Mashed his face. And the thing I think we're missing there is Homer just clawing his way out of the garage door.
Oh, yeah.
Grabbing the rake. Like, but the only thing I don't like about this bit, Bart is stealing a change jar.
Yeah, I kind of want a follow-up line is now I can buy myself X blank X.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very inconsequential to the rest of the story is all.
I think it's just that like it's shown in that opening shot where it's like gleaming and the camera's kind of pulling away slightly and it's like glittering in the sunlight. I think it's just that
an object of desire.
But like he's always stealing from other people's piggy banks, so we know that canonically he does that, and well, all the ones that he knows about anyway. We know at this stage that Bart will take money to he'll take it to the arcade because they do say let's go to the arcade later on.
I believe it was merely a reflection of his desire to obtain ill-gotten Spongulix. Spongulix, kids, look it up.
B just been listening to his subliminal vocabulary tapes.
Alas, it is true.
And I have not, as you can hear by how long it takes for me to think of words that used to say.
Yeah. Oh, and ways it affected me. I do remember, and I did use a lot of the metal thing to dig food.
Yeah.
I mean, a spoon? Yeah.
No, rich creamery butter stuck in our household for some reason. We'd always say that.
But how would you eat the rich creamery butter without a metal dealie you use to dig food?
We'd eat it with 82 ounces of pure American beef.
4 kinds of sugar.
Anything you reckon flew over your head in the day?
Skinner's Nam references.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's not even a punchline there. They're just dark, but I still laughed at them. And he's all like, I was always suspicious of students being counted over here. Well, I'm a good student. That's what they told me, just like they told me when I got back from Nan. There'd be parades. Instead, they spat on me. I can still feel it sliding down my cheek.
Yeah.
And so you got over that bedwetting problem in grade 2. They have that in there? Oh, don't worry. They'll forget about that. Like they forgot about me in that tiger cage for 18 months.
It's like, wow. Guy's got some unresolved issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a reoccurring bit of Skinner staring out the blinds and having the shadows.
I loved the change in lighting for that scene.
Yeah.
Like, because his office is brightly lit and everything, and he comes and it's almost like everything's gone dark and you can see the shadows of the shades like hit across his face and everything. It's so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's got a very Saigon. Shit, I'm still only in Saigon.
Well, yeah, that was amazing. So ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Absolutely,
My
Kent.
golly.
Yeah, this was a very... there wasn't actually too much going on in this episode. It was very easy to summarize.
But
Yeah.
Milhouse gets a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It gets a vocabulary.
Yeah, and it was clear that was sort of fill material for the episode, but it's not bad because they at least tie it into the plot at the end where Bart comes to Lisa asking for advice and she goes, I don't know, did you ask Dad? And he goes, I did, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Yeah, it's less a time, more like a brief collision, but I really like, how they've...
Yeah.
That's why he goes to Lisa, and it's explained really well. I do super love that bit.
Yeah. But yeah, the characters were all themselves in this episode, and it was more how would these characters react in this situation.
I do like how teen/adult Maggie still has her pacifier in the dream sequence of Homer at his funeral.
I miss that. Nice.
Yeah, they've got because Marge looks visibly older, and I think we've mentioned this before, they do that by just adding 2 lines under her eyes, giving her eye bags, and that makes her immediately 10 to 15 years older. But Bart and Lisa are kind of grown up, but Maggie is older in a dress, and she's still got a pacifier in as well. Anyway,
shows the extent of Homer's imagination.
Yeah.
That was Lisa's
imagination.
Oh yeah, good point.
Which is I gotta help him. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when that came out and Marge's line, I wish they never invented fried cheese. I feel like that was a joke on where American food was going, and now
then,
it's just a more inaccurate reflection.
Now we got the double down.
Man, the double down is probably better because the bun is full of sugar. You want less bun, more meat.
Well, that's what you get with the double down.
Although, to be fair, we've now got deep fried butter, deep fried Mars bars, deep fried beer.
Well, deep fried Mars bars are a proud Scottish tradition. But they are.
But no, I remember the first Easter show I went to where it was cheese on a stick, and it was oh my god, we are living in a glorious, horrible future.
Yep.
I can eat cheese on a stick, then I can wash myself with a rag on a stick.
So let's talk about the wackiness of this episode. What were some of the wacky moments?
Bart hits Milhouse in the head with an 8-ball so hard it cracks the 8-ball open.
Wow, and doesn't crack his skull. Yeah.
Those things are solid.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could have been better. He was reaching at one point for the scissors, then a brick, and then a broken
I
bottle.
do love how Milhouse has that stuff on his floor.
Yeah.
The end of the sex education video goes, 9 months later, Fuzzy Bunny had 14 babies. 8 survived.
Actually, what is the gestational period for a rabbit? I'm pretty sure it's not 9 months.
True, I'm pretty sure that's...
Anyway.
It's 2 weeks or something. Those things.
14 seconds.
I was going to say wacky that subliminal tapes would work immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And
That,
very,
the next day, yeah. Well, let's just assume Homer is very susceptible.
Yeah.
it was a good subtle touch, though, that they had Dr. Marvin Monroe being the advertising for it, because he is known as a crack shrink. But yeah.
Yeah, at this point, we've had his electroshock therapy to heal families of their hatred for each other.
And he's not dead yet.
And he's not dead yet.
Gestational period for rabbits about 31 days, so 1 month.
Wow,
Damn.
I thought it was 2. Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
They do
Breed like rabbits.
Yeah, this wasn't a super wacky episode. I mean, besides Homer's stuff, I wouldn't say it's more wacky, but more levity, I guess.
Yeah. Milhouse's heartbreak is very over the top.
But fair enough.
But I mean, they're playing it for laughs, and I get it. But I mean, it's if you knew someone for one day, and
yeah, but he's also never had a girlfriend since,
This
so
is
maybe
true.
he knew this was the extent of it.
Yeah.
Well, this goes pretty fluidly into the heart of the episode. And yeah, this was Milhouse's heart-filled episode. And he could have justifiably been really shitty at Bart at the end of it, but
Yeah.
Well, come on, what about the bit where Bart, where they try to ditch Bart at the movies and he walks in the alleyway and kind of starts crying and then Milhouse shows up and is like,
yeah,
can we use your treehouse? And it's like,
yeah, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
yeah, there's some heart there. And then you get the payoff of, as soon as Samantha gets dragged away, he's like, well, love him, leave him now. Let's go to the arcade.
Yeah.
Immediately everything's back to normal and then kind of does come to the realization of, oh, no, I fucked this up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he does help Milhouse along. They go visit her at San Sebastian's at the end.
10
and-
gallons of gummy bears, yeah.
Yeah, and Bart apologizes to Samantha as well. It's like, I guess that was worked out in their little deal or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. It sounded like she already knew anyway, because
Yeah.
he said, I'm really sorry about that. Like, as if I've already apologized, but I just want to reinforce that I am actually sorry.
Oh, yeah,
So
well...
maybe the worst was, off screen.
Mm,
But then she's like, I actually like it here, so it's fine.
yeah. No, it was a cute resolution as well, and it sort of left the door open for her to come back, and,
If they ever wanted to, yeah.
I am so glad that they haven't, because...
No, but it feels like she's not gone from the universe
No,
of
and
The
that,
Simpsons, so
and that there's still hope for Milhouse yet.
there's
Yeah.
no hope for Milhouse.
Nope.
Nobody likes Milhouse.
And yeah, she did seem quite content with the school at the end, the French-Canadian nuns.
Yeah. They seemed fun, to be honest. They were singing, it was like Sound of Music in that playground.
Yeah, but also they'd never let her oot.
They never let her oot. So dumb.
Such a nice, subtle joke.
Yeah.
Samantha, n'est pas boys.
But talking more about the heart as well and subtlety as well is that when Samantha was first introduced to the classroom, I like that they told Milhouse falling for her just in images. There was
Yeah.
never a moment of him going, oh, hubba, hubba, gaga, gaga, I really want to hit that bitch. Like, there wasn't that moment that you see so often in Simpsons episodes.
Yes, the words "hit that bitch" come up so often.
It's just sitting there, pussy fine.
Yeah, you type that into Frankiac and like, which one of the many episodes are you talking about?
Can't narrow it down. Come on.
But no, it's just told with glances. Milhouse like looking at him, resting his head and chin on
Yeah,
his hand.
That
and-
longing look.
And
little half open
looking at
eyes.
each other over Bart's head.
Yeah, when
and-
he puts his head on the desk going, boring at the video, yeah, and they're
Yep.
just like, oh, hello.
Mm.
Just all in
So,
looks.
come to this school often? No, actually, I'm new.
Yeah, and then when him and Samantha like meet properly in the playground as well, like it just unfolds really beautiful. It's really cute. I
Yeah,
just
I
like you guys.
When I find out who threw that ball, I'm gonna. And sees it's her, and she's like smiling at him, and
Yeah.
it's very sweet.
Yeah, and that kind of, although all the kids this kickball could have hit, I'm glad it was you.
Yeah. But yeah, and Milhouse is crying, and he's like, I don't want you to see me cry. You cry everywhere.
You cry when they're out of chocolate milk.
Yeah,
You cry when you do long division, you have a remainder.
that always stuck with me over the years because I actually never knew how to do long division.
No one does.
I just faked my way through
It's
math.
fun. I like long division, so shut up.
But then, yeah, when a long division had come up and I'd be like, am I going to cry because there's a remainder? I'd at least make myself laugh in the classroom.
Like, Elliot, no laughing.
So, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what
Yes.
episode playlist are we going to put this in?
Ooh, I guess.
It's love interests.
Yeah, it's Big Heart.
Girlfriend episodes.
Yeah, kids dating.
This goes into like really solid Milhouse episodes as well.
Mm-hmm.
New Kid at School as well. Pair it up with the Laura Powers episode. And
Yep. Homer weight episodes.
Yep.
Like King Size Homer and all of them.
Home
Yeah.
education episodes.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Homer being slightly smarter.
Yes, when Homer expands his cranial capacity.
Homer and Marge lovemaking episodes.
Whenever you want to see an episode with Marge and Homer getting it on.
Yeah. Silhouette one. What was that one where they do it on Mr. Burns' office desk or something?
Ugh,
Oh, yeah. That one was bizarre.
that was bad. Wasn't that Love is in the chemical compound? of air?
N2O2H2 something. Yeah.
Just say-
That's
just say,
That's
yeah.
a bad episode.
Yeah.
Guest stars of this episode, Kimmy Robertson played the role of Samantha Stanky, and you might know her from Twin Peaks.
She's like the receptionist at the police station there.
I like how
She's a bit of a bizarre character.
Yeah, I like how Skinner introduces her. Accidentally mispronounces her name as Stinky. How is Stanky better?
Yeah.
Well, no, we're saying that in today. Did they have stank back then?
Surely.
When did...
The entomology of stank.
No, I was thinking about, when did, was it Liar Liar or Ace Ventura was like, put a bit of stank on it, like that. That Jim Carrey quote.
She plays Lucy Moran.
Yeah.
There you go, for all you Twin Peaks fans.
Yeah, she's got a good character there.
And we'll just use the time to give a quick shout out to our friend Trisha Bogomil out in the States. Hey, Trisha. She's got a Facebook fan page, which is like Twin Peaks and Simpsons mashup memes.
Oh, cool.
And it's doing very well, much better than this podcast. And I promise I'll watch Twin Peaks soon. It's just I haven't watched it yet.
First season is incredible.
Yeah?
Second season goes downhill because they made him like reveal who the killer was.
Have you been watching the new one?
I
or?
haven't yet. I was going to wait till it all came out.
People were like losing their shit over it like last week, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was funny because it was when the Game of Thrones finale ended as well. So like Facebook feed was just spoilers.
Well, I've managed to steer clear, so I'm just I'll enjoy that when it comes around.
Yeah.
Not so much heart, but emotional in that when you said when she does get introduced to the class, that was my worst nightmare. Of like having to be stood up in front of the class and just talk about yourself. And when,
yeah.
I love Mrs. Krabappel's lead in, which she's like, well, I know this must be a little scary. Why don't you stand at the front of the class and tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'll be judging you on grammar and poise.
Grammar and poise. So
no, that
harsh.
was amazing. Like, because have you guys ever been the new kid at school or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've always just kind of been there quietly in the background.
You're an NPC at your schools?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the thing where you take a photograph and I'm just in the background, like a ghost story.
Like looking at, like you've just turned to look at the camera like, what's that doing
is
here?
this picture day?
Yeah. I joined a new school in year 4 when usually the intake was either in year 3 or year 5.
Oh, okay.
So I was one of 2 people. One was in the other year 4 class.
Did that make you fight?
No. Did try and play handball the first day and embarrassed myself
Ooh.
terribly. And that was just like, my reputation gone for the rest of my school term. So
I was the new kid in year 3 and what was funny is I was one of 2 kids that was, a bit of a larger kid in terms of weight and height, especially height. Me and this other kid, John Wheeler, stood about a foot over all of the other fellow students. So they thought it'd be really fun to spread rumors about each of us saying that we hated each other, and so that they ended up making us fight.
wow.
Who won?
Me.
Hey!
But the most embarrassing part of that was I beat the other fat kid, but they introduced a tag team rule mid-fight, and this other little squirt, fucking Sam, beat the living shit out of me.
Oh, what a dickhead.
I know, and it was annoying because, again, he was like a foot smaller, but, he had the quickness.
Yeah.
So any other notes do you have about this episode, BT?
I got a couple of Corners.
Okay, go.
I'll let you do. I want to see if we picked up on the same thing.
Okay.
Bart gets for Samantha Doomed Romance Comics from Lisa's collection.
Yeah.
I really like that. I do like the animation where Bart walks, after he's crying in the alley, kind of walks off and casts his shadow up against the alley. That's very cool.
Feels like a movie reference. Probably Hitchcock.
I wonder where the light source was to make that shadow.
From the sun.
I think it's in the shut up. It's very quick. I'm not even sure I saw it, but it looks like there are maths equations written all over Martin's blanket.
Oh, really?
Like that. It's a panning shot as they're going through his room. Would you want to watch me play the lute?
That shot is amazing of how, it shows Bart being there and then fucking just
passes
exiting.
the window. Oh, it's great.
Do you think he has to wear that hat to play the lute?
I think he's that committed to it.
Yeah,
okay, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, so that does it for my notes, other than my little things I want to see if retentiveness has lined up.
All right. Well, that means it is time for Jordan's Anal Corner.
Jordan's Anal Corner.
Bully.
Yeah.
1. Maggie has the suction cup gun.
Yep.
And she shoots. It's a 1 bullet thing, but she shoots 4 or 5 in quick succession, like it's a machine gun.
That's the one of the 2 I had.
Yeah, and then the last one I had was Melis is lying on his bed, but there's no pillows anywhere in his room. He's just kind of lying on what looks like a blanket for his head.
It's true. Maybe he was so angry he threw it out the window.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I had one where when Marge calls up the subliminal messaging tape service and they go to pick up the weight loss one and there's none there, they turn to the vocabulary one. The guy just picks up the tape and puts it in the box. It'd have a label on it. Like when it came to The Simpsons, it would have a label, vocabulary expander, on it.
Yeah, fair
well,
enough.
Maybe it doesn't. That. Maybe they're blank. Maybe that's how they know, because it's like these ones are all vocabulary. You have to keep them there because we're not marked, and maybe that's why.
It's possible. But...
Maybe that's why Homer puts it in and just assumes that he's going to get weight loss. He would, because if it had a label, he'd be like vocabulary, Bill. This is the wrong thing they've sent me.
Yeah, wow, that makes sense. I was going to say a wizard did it.
Yeah.
That's your explanation for everything.
It explains everything.
That's the Simpsons explanation for everything, to be fair.
Yep.
I did like the joke about, we've always known about the jolly fat man, and they have like Dom DeLuise's Hitchcock, like, he's
and
like the
English.
least
Santa Claus.
the least jolly person you
And-
can think of.
Oh, okay. Now I
And
get
also English.
Yeah,
but I
well,
like how they said the news report says, if you took the excess weight of every obese person in America, you could fill 2/5 of the Grand Canyon. Well, that may not sound like much. We got to remind you, it is a big canyon.
I do like that.
Jordan, any other notes?
Another hashtag. It can be episodes where they do the music thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one.
Or notes where they have birds flying from a tree all
Yeah.
at once because of someone shouting.
Yeah.
That's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
Yep.
Couple of notes. Yeah, I did like the note on Bart's test where he's like proving that the magic
eight
8 ball
ball.
is wrong, and the note says, very poor even for you.
Yeah. No, it was a nice little touch there.
Nelson going, where's Mr. Krabappel? He goes, well, Nelson, he chased something fluffy down a rabbit hole. Like, Mrs. Krabappel is very smart.
And I love Bart's question in that as well. Like, he is such a child. Just like, how can we get a man to meet with a monkey so we can make a half monkey man?
Yeah. I want my
But
monkey
that
man.
would be playing God. God smart. I want my monkey man.
I did like the name of one of, like, the tape that they're watching for the Fluffy Bunny learns about you know what at the start. Tromaclaw is like, know me from other educational videos such as something.
Lead paint, delicious but dangerous.
Yeah.
And here comes the metric system.
I did like that bit as well. And I think this episode, maybe this is where you subliminally got the idea for the hangover test. Because
Yeah, where Homer's
Homer
reaching
is reaching for the remote and he can't quite get there.
and he's like, maybe I'll give this show a chance.
Yeah.
That was one as well where I felt like they subtly set up the vocabulary story where he's like, where's that channel changer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he didn't even have the word for remote. And yeah, no, I thought that was, whether intentional or unintentional.
I assume intentional. That seems like just a reminder he doesn't know words for things.
Yeah.
Just what was the 4th of July parade, the big hat that he was wearing? Like, is that a character? What is that?
Oh,
That's just
the
the thing people do at 4th of July parades.
Is it?
Yeah, the little
seen it
stomach montage. That was really cute. Where, he's going through all the moments of his life where the gut came in use. Like, that big 4th of July. I heard on the commentary they referenced it as a Shriners parade.
They do love Shriners references in The Simpsons, don't they?
Shriners are just weird little things.
They must have more parades in America than they do here. Like,
I don't know if we've got. We must have some Shriners in
I'd
Australia.
like to. I'd love to drive down a street in a little hilarious
Little
car.
hat and a fez? Hell yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll just bust the gut out and put a top hat on my top half.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. But yeah, as well, him playing with Maggie and like,
Yeah.
it was disgusting, but very cute.
Babies probably like that kind of thing. They like, trampolines. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know it's a belly.
my godfather, when I was a baby, I think was it my christening or something? I can't remember. It was an event.
Yeah.
And he like threw me up into the air, right into a chandelier.
Oh, dear
Ooh,
Christ.
shit.
Like right in the top of my like soft baby
Oh.
skull. Yeah. That's why I am now the way I am.
That's why we call you Jordan Chandelier Head.
They really should take that shot out or leave it in. I'm
I
not
really
sure.
wish you wouldn't keep referring to the chandelier.
I'm sorry, I know you're sensitive about it, but it's just such a unique feature.
Oh, we should all mention those movies they went to go see as well.
Oh, yeah.
They went to see, this was actually Jordan Zanucore as well, the other one. Space Mutants 7 was listed on the billboard.
Yeah.
But when they're like talking about, sometimes there's too much time spent together.
Yep.
In the background, there's a poster for Space Mutants, but it's Space Mutants 6. It's not Space Mutants 7.
I
Maybe they're
did
showing
notice
both.
that.
Or maybe.
Double feature.
Sometimes they show the previous one in a series
Yeah,
when the
okay.
new one comes out.
Fair enough. But then, some of them were,
Or
what was it? Grits
or-
are flying? Hot grits are flying?
How hard crits are flying. Or a wizard did it.
Yeah, okay, wizards. And then Rip Roarin' Reverend. I kind of want to see that.
I don't know.
I feel like it'd be about that stage of, like Bob Dylan had all like the characters that he
Yeah.
kind of did.
Yeah.
And he had that one that was kind of like a reverend.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon it'd be about that.
I'll be like, I want to take my dad to see Hot Grits Are Flying.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sing Monkey Sing. Who could forget that?
Sing monkey sing.
All right. Just some quick fire notes before we rank this thing.
Mm-hmm.
when Bart is asking the Magic 8-Ball, all the various scenarios, will him and Milhouse be friend? I like it how, will Milhouse and I be friends when we're like middle-aged and we're leeching off Uncle Sucker?
Yeah.
That was one that I definitely missed as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, when we're high school dropouts.
Yeah.
Although they are still friends at the end of the day.
I know.
It's the next day that they kind of have issues.
Oh. Well, they were frayed at the end of the day.
Yes, it's true.
Otto's line about, sorry, Bart, dude, my girlfriend is dancing topless at the airport bar from 4 to 4:20.
Not even 4:15 to 4:20. She's on like a 5-minute slot.
At the airport topless bar.
dear.
She's worked on a tight 5, and that's what she's going to do.
Well, if she can afford to like pay all her bills with the tips she gets in that 5-minute period,
That
she's done
must
pretty
be
well.
an amazing 5 minutes.
I love the dramatic recreation of how Santa would actually be right now. In fact, he would have impotence, gallstones, and diabetes.
And hypertension.
And hypertension.
Just dead on the
No,
and the reindeer
It
just
is
like
like-
looking sad.
He was so young.
When Bart's doing the baseball trading cards when Milhouse is distracted, he has a Carl Yastrzemski card.
Oh, that's the one from before. That's the one that Milhouse wants with the sideburns,
With the
right?
big sideburns.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
I like how he trades it for a picture of Homer on the couch.
Yeah. When Homer's on the couch and Lisa comes up to him with the idea of the subliminal tapes, and she goes, "What if I told you can lose weight without even trying?"
I'd call you a dirty, filthy liar, honey.
What is it? Why'd you ask? Yeah.
I love that. It's such a quick turn. We had Itchy and Scratchy in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a nice, quick, simple one, touching on the topic of the episode where
Yep.
Scratchy's marrying his cat bride and Itchy as the priest just like kung laos them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do want to point out again, Itchy is clearly racist. He doesn't hate Scratchy in particular. He murders all cats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go to hell, Itchy.
He's a felineist, catsist. My final note for the episode is I love Bart's line, who am I? Let's just say I'm a concerned prude with a lot of time on his hands.
I do like that.
All right, perfect. Well, let us rank this thing.
Panic ensues yet again. I
Yeah.
still have not learned.
Well, go first.
Oh.
I know this must be scary for you, so why don't you stand up in front of the class and tell us how you're going to rank this thing?
How's my poise?
Hold on, got to make sure the internet is recording and go.
Okay. Look, I mean, would I? Would I?
Could you?
Would I go below a gold? I don't think I would go below a gold. It's still a lovely episode. I think about the things that have ranked silver, and I like this more. So it's a gold minimum. I don't think I can go cubic. It's still great. It's still a great story, but it's not like I don't think it'd be anyone's like favorite episode. I don't think it's essential viewing. So yeah, I think gold is a kind of a nice place for it.
No, I completely agree with you. It's total gold. There's nothing about it which makes me say that you have to watch this. Like, dare I say I summed it up best at the start. This is just a damn charming episode. And, like, it's a very lovely story. And I think maybe it's just missing a lot of the strong plot or the super funny gut-busting jokes that a cubic would normally have, but it is by no means any less than a gold. So gold for me. How about you, BT?
Well, it turns out we're in agreement, because I'm also at a gold. It's not lacking for anything. It's just the cubic zirconia. What keeps it from that is that's when it's so tightly packed and so dense with jokes, you barely have time to catch your breath between them.
Yeah.
And everything here is good, and the jokes are funny, and there was a lot more, I haven't seen this in a very long time, a lot more kind of jokes just for the adults kind of slid in that I didn't really pick up on until now. It does like a bit of punch and a bit of momentum to really kick it into that cubic area. And if it wasn't for the Homer B story being so strong, it might have even slipped down to a silver.
Yeah.
But the B story is very strong. That's where most of your good jokes come from. And the main plot is, it's very good. It's very not full heartfelt, but you get some emotion. It's good. Gold.
Yep, it's all about the thumbs with this one. And it'll be joining other such unanimous golds as Principal Charming, Bart the Lover, Bart's Girlfriend. Wow, a lot of love episodes. Separate Vocations, Bart's Inner Child, Dumbbell Indemnity, Lisa the Tree Hugger. Yeah, this is, very solid company right there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's another episode in the bank. In the bank? In the books? On the internet?
On the iPad. No.
On
In,
whatever.
in the warehouse.
On the...
They belong in a museum.
in the logic.
Yeah, well, wherever you're finding our podcast, that's where it is. And yeah, that's us for tonight. Thank you for joining me tonight, Jordan.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Thank you for joining me tonight, BT.
You know I live here, right?
Yep. All right, and I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. That's episode 57 of The Simpsons Index, and that's all the mustard in the house.
Rich creamery butter.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
Ready to do this? Everyone can hear each other. And
Yes.
it's not too loud when I do this.
I'm
Never.
Good. I'm good.
And let's do this. What's up, bitches?
Oh my god.
Ah,
Sorry.
why? Why would you just fucking find something and headbutt it?
Oh, I've figured out a synonym for cinnamon.
Oh, really?
Cassia.
What the hell is cassia?
Well, do
Oh,
you
so-
have a synonym for cinnamon?
Yes, cassia.
There you
China,
go.
or which is also known as Chinese cinnamon.
A synonym for cinnamon is the Chinese synonym of
What was it called again? Cassia?
Cassia, C-A-S-S-I-A.
Cassia. No, I really wished it like tongue twisted with
Yeah.
cinnamon. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Well, it may do in
Like-
its Latin form.
Cinnamon was a synonym for cinnamon.
Ooh.
cinnamon. Oh, quick trivia question before we move on. How many Dr. Dolittle movies were there in that Eddie Murphy universe?
3 at least.
Was there?
How many?
Oh god, I didn't know there was more than one.
Oh yeah. There's one where
Oh,
his daughter
no.
takes over. She gets the power to Dr.
Oh
Dolittle.
jeez.
What's your guess, Jordan?
Oh god. 4, I hope, is the minimum.
Jordan wins because he got the closest without going over, and it is 5.
Oh.
Wow.
There were 5. You can buy that as a 5 DVD pack at your local IGA.
Question, can I not do that?
Do I have to? Is it like gay marriage? Like, will I have to
How does
get
that-
gay
If
marriage?
gay marriage passes, do we all have to buy the 5-pack? Or
Yeah,
no?
you guys have to buy Dr. Dolittle 5-pack. You have to marry a dude, and you also have to make your a half Chinese adopted son wear a dress.
Okay.
Shit.
That's all right. We can bitch about how progressively much worse the Dr. Dolittle movies get
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
Those
Because when this
dudes.
passes as laws in other countries, things like this become commonplace.
Yeah,
that's
apparently.
right.
These programs are set in stone.
For those that couldn't detect on your sarcasm detectors, we're all very much in favor of
Oh
magic.
god, yes.
Vote yes on this stupid plebiscite. Anyway, moving
It's
on.
not even a plebiscite because they
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
do the plebiscite. They're
Yeah.
just doing a poll now.
This
It's-
is the equivalent of like getting a comments card when you finish your meal at a restaurant.
no, it's even worse. It's TV Week Logie Award nominations. That's what it is. It's like right in now.
I love the Logies because there's not enough Australian TV for
No.
there to be competition. So everybody gets one.
Yeah, basically.
Logies,
It used to
'cause you were
mean
on TV.
something.
It
Yeah.
never did. It was, are you Lisa McCune? Yeah, there's your gold one. Now get out.
Oh
Yeah.
man! Or before that, if you were either Bert Newton or Graham Kennedy, you immediately like, unless you were both competing in the same category, and it was like, oh, we have to choose.
No, that's
and
right.
then they made Bert Kennedy.
The ultimate Australian gold Logie
Bert
winner.
Kennedy McCune.
Although I didn't mind Vince Vaughn's turn as a serious actor actually, but
He's
you know.
tried before. It's mixed. He's in The Cell. The Cell's a good movie.
Oh my god. No, that's Vince D'Onofrio.
No, that's Vince. That's both of them.
Is oh,
Double the
it is-
Vincents. Time to
Oh.
Michael your Vincents.
This is going to be our Rick and Morty heavy reference episode.
Ralph L. Jones.
I was going to say, can we get some Ralph L. Jones? It's
Oh,
recess everywhere, but in his heart. We'll give you the setup if you like. There stands a broken man.
It's recess everywhere, but in his heart. Sorry, that
chills.
one.
Chills.
I stayed a little Australian then.
Yeah, I was about to say it was a bit
You're-
Russell Crowe.
yeah, you're a little-
elitist.
James L. Crow.
Try it again.
There stands a broken man.
It's recess everywhere. Oh, damn it. That was Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
In the universe, it is recess everywhere, but in his heart.
Okay, take 3.
It's recess everywhere, but in his heart.
Nice. I think you have to lead yourself up with a bit of like Simba.
Yeah, that's what I try.
Although,
I-
you are not Hakeem. You've got a moustache.
Sorry, just as a quick side, and I'd probably cut this bit. But seeing as we were talking about conspiracies before, do you want to try and start one where we just blame everything on wizards?
Oh.
And it's like, the Earth isn't flat. The Earth used to be round and has become flat because of wizards.
Oh, I like it.
The new flat Earth theory.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, you
the
were
gov-
right. The Earth was flat, and wizards bent the Earth out of shape and into a globe.
And it used to be hollow, but they filled it with a bunch of crap.
yeah.
Wizard crap.
Which is molten, steel and shit. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll
Yeah.
work on it, but I
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
idea of just. It's like a big government conspiracy to hide the existence of wizards.
Of interdimensional
Wizards.
outer space wizards.
Pull some Da Vinci codes. Look, if you rearrange
Oh.
the letters of the first passage of the Bible, in the beginning, a wizard did it.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, you know what? Okay, you know how the Illuminati is represented by a triangle? What shape is a wizard's fucking hat?
Yeah,
Fucking wizards confirmed, mate.
Yeah.
exactly.
We're through the looking glass now. A looking glass is the same shape as a wizard's sleeve.
You know what else is the shape of a wizard's sleeve? Let's not go there. Anyway.
You already did. We're already thinking.
I kissed a light socket once, and then I woke up in a helicopter.
You sure did, Ralph.